Ryan Gosling turns a new leaf. YouTubers are now making big-time movies. Jordan Peele announces his new movie, and Sigourney Weaver goes back to space.
Oh, it's time for class.
There we go.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Tyler.
I'm Peter.
And Joseph is not.
What about Jack? You just cut Jack off.
I
said Jack off. Jesus. Say hi,
Oh,
Jack.
great. Yeah,
So
let's turn my intro into that joke, huh?
So
Yeah, come on.
well, I was gonna say no Joseph today, but we have our friend from down under, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Hello, I am the Australian representative,
Yes.
and yeah.
Well, it's great
that's
to
it.
have you on, Jack.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
Also, welcome everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise, and of course the OG classmates listening in podcast land. Well, how is everyone? It's Mother's Day for you, Jack.
Yeah, Jack's in the future. Jack is living on May 12th right now already.
I know we have a time traveler in our show.
Is your mom mad that you're here with us?
Nah, we went to the movies the other day together. We're all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay, fair.
Well, that's good. How are you, Pete?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's hot. It's hot.
It's hot.
It's been hot the last couple days, and I like it. I love it.
Why?
I love it.
Why?
I'm like a lizard on a rock.
I was gonna say you're cold-blooded.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I would rather it be dry and hot than wet and cold.
Incorrect. Incorrect. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay, but
It's
incorrect.
okay to be. Yeah, you can have your own wrong opinion.
Yeah, weather. Joseph Navarro, who abandoned us today to do God knows what.
Yeah, I don't even know where he's at right now.
Antiquing, I think.
Antiquing.
No, we had to record late today because I had an engagement this morning. I had to be out of town.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. You know, Joseph was going to be out of town. So we have our pal Jack, who people might know if you recognize the voice.
I was stoked by that.
That's Jack.
Ugly sound. I hate it
That's
so
not
much.
an ugly sound. Stop being so hard on yourself.
It's great.
I never say stoked. I never say it. Why did I say it
Because
then?
you're Californian.
Yeah,
You're talking to a couple of Californians.
you're a Californian at heart.
Yeah, you're honorary.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Kelly, dude.
There we go.
There's a drop right there. Well, anyways, let's get into some movie news.
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for Gab Chatter.
All right, movie news that we read about this week or that we may have discovered from the past. I don't know. I do that all the time.
Great intro.
Anyways.
Dynamite. It's been like 3 months since you hosted, isn't it?
Yes, it has.
How's it
I'm
feel?
trying to, well, you know, being in the captain's chair, you know, there's a lot of responsibility. And,
Are you up to the challenge? Is the question.
Well, I feel like I've been doing a great job right now.
A banter job.
Fantastic work, Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that patronizing compliment.
Yeah, it's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Pete, what do you got for this week?
Okay, so a couple things I wanted to address. A little bit of housekeeping. We have we get weekly stats posted into the show that tell us who's listening, how many people are listening, and every once in a while we'll get like a weird bump of numbers, and it's not like we just got hundreds of downloads to this last week's episode. We get 1 and 2 downloads for like the entire catalog, and it'll go back, and we have like a 400 backlog. We're on like episode 418 right now, something like that.
Yeah.
So I this last week when the stats came out, I was like, why are the numbers so high? I went back and looked, and there are 1 or 2 new listeners who downloaded 1 and 2 of
Everything.
all the old episodes. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, whoever you are, thank you. And if you came from the YouTube channel and you're not familiar with the show too much, drop us a line. The email is mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show. We're always curious where people come from because,
Right.
Jack, how did you find out about us?
Cinematics, I guess. The Cinematics Facebook group. That's how I found
yeah.
out.
Yeah, you're right.
And
you're
I
right.
started talking to you through comments and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
then it all just
Yeah.
Now you're
built up from there.
now you're
Just-
taking over.
Yeah, just cascaded into
Yes.
guest hosting now.
Like a scourge of cane toads who've taken over this podcast.
And toads are not in Victoria, thank you.
Oh.
But my sister deals with them in Queensland.
They're still doing that shit?
Oh yeah. In her house, apparently.
Oh my god!
Like they get it. She killed a couple like last week.
Oh, wow.
No joke.
Great Simpsons episode. He
Yeah.
goes to Australia and then he introduces the cane toad.
No, she fucking hates cane toads, and
Really?
so whenever I see a video or reel or whatever of frogs or toads or anything, always got to send it to her.
Nice. So my first topic is not from me. It's actually from Joseph
Don't
Navarro.
say, no, deny him of it because
No,
he
no,
abandoned us.
It's interesting, so we're gonna say it. Peter Jackson is coming back to the Lord of the Rings franchise.
What?
Yeah, there's in 2026. There's supposed to be a new Lord of the Rings movie. That is, he's not going to be directing, but he is going to be producing, and it's going to be directed by Andy Serkis.
Wow.
Who played
I didn't
Gollum.
know.
Oh.
I didn't know he had directing chops.
I think he's directed a couple of movies. I can't say for sure, but
So he's just gonna be like the supervisor on set.
who Peter Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like that's his role.
I mean, he's a producer, and that's a very broad, job title
Right.
in that. But the movie's
Yeah.
yeah.
Producer can mean anything.
You can literally just pay the bills and fuck off, or you can be there every day cracking skulls.
Yeah.
So the title of the movie is going to be called Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, and a little tag on the end of the story is that title, Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, was already a fan-made movie that was
Right.
out on YouTube and had something like 13 million views on it or some shit.
Yeah.
Very successful for the creator, and they made it from scratch, and they released it on YouTube, and they're getting money from this. And WB, Warner Brothers, copyright struck him,
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
and they took his video down. What do you think about that, Jack?
But they did it before the existence of the copyright, technically, right?
Absolutely, they did.
So you can't retroactively call for copyright. That is total bullshit. This is the first I've heard of this. This is
the
crazy.
This is the company that hired David or whatever his name is, Zaslav, who's killing movies left and right for tax cut purposes.
yeah, Zaslav.
That
yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the company was getting investigated by the federal government for a hot minute there because they were cutting so many movies.
I wouldn't be surprised
It,
at all.
it started
Is-
with
is that the-
Girl.
Yeah, Batgirl, Scoob. What was the other one?
It was the Wile E. Coyote one.
That's it.
Oh
yeah.
Acme versus Coyote or something like that.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, do you know the story about the hunt for Gollum?
No, there's no actual story from this. It's just literally just announced. So I mean, we won't know anything that. But as far as the movie on YouTube goes, I don't know. But Warner Brothers did retroactively restore it, and they said that was a mistake.
Well, so like the origin,
good for them at least on that.
The origin of they did, and the origin for the hunt for Gollum is when Aragorn and Gandalf hunt for Gollum because he knows I believe he knows the existence of the One Ring, or that he had it. It was one of those two. I think it was like he knew the existence of it, and they wanted to get some information out of him, and then.
You're talking just about like from the book.
Yeah, I mean they briefly mention it in the Fellowship of the Ring too, but
No, I'm into it. I'm excited about it, and I mean more Peter Jackson at anyone's life is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean I don't know, like I don't know.
You're excited about so many movies that have literally no information about it from people you don't know about, and finally, don't you love Lord of the Rings?
I do. Of course I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna.
You were
see it.
excited that Lord of the Rings had an apostrophe or something in the title
colon, a
recently,
colon.
remember?
Oh, yeah.
What? There's a colon in there?
That I was excited for.
So, anyways, that's not that's not anything specifically. That's all Joseph's information, and from this news story. So it's a donated pick. I'll briefly talk about what I actually wanted to talk about. This story comes from the Hollywood Reporter, and it is all about Ryan Gosling and the movies that he chooses to do. So Ryan Gosling says he does not take on any more, quote, dark roles. He has his family first. Yeah.
He has a family?
He has a family, yeah. Eva Mendes.
I thought he was a bachelor.
No,
Wow.
Eva Mendes. They met on the set of Place Beyond the Pines, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. So, hey, Bruce is in the chat. Andrew Martin is in the chat. What's up, guys? Also, Joseph's in San Francisco fighting for his life.
Fighting for his life.
I don't know what for.
Oh God.
So anyways, I'll continue with this story. Gosling says he takes a lot into consideration before choosing his next movie role. He recently opened up to Wall Street Journal about his decision to avoid taking on darker projects so that he can be more present with his family. And he says, I don't really take roles that are going to put me in some sort of weird dark place. This moment is what it's what I feel like I'm trying to read the room at home, and I feel like it's going to be the best for all of us. The decisions I make with them in mind. My wife, my kids, it was Ava, and we make them as a family with family first in mind. He says that in 2016's La La Land, which he starred in, obviously, was the first film he signed into with this different perspective in mind, having children. And he quotes, it was just sort of like, oh, this will be fun for them too. Because even though they're not coming to set, we're practicing piano every day, or we're dancing and we're singing. And Gosling explained that the roles he'd accepted in recent years were basically, he was kind of getting pigeonholed into like a dark place Beyond the Pines, Blue Valentine, things like that.
Drive.
Half Nelson, Drive. And he
Yeah,
says,
for sure.
so he says that the interest in Barbie and the disinterest in Ken was an inspiration. I thought that they were already making little movies about Barbies on iPads, and that happened. So the fact that I was going in off to work to make one too just felt like that we were aligned. So it's kind of an interesting topic, and you know, putting a family first in a Hollywood scenario is interesting. It's different, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the guy who played Dahmer in that Netflix series, like I think like he said he had to go to like therapy to like no, it wasn't that. There was some actor who had to go into therapy because like they got so into this like dark character, like they couldn't get out of it. I can't remember who it was, but it was someone.
That was Heath Ledger.
There's tons of examples.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, anyone that played the Joker, I think, except maybe Jared Leto. He was just already fucked up.
I mean, I think he was just playing himself at that point.
Yeah, cult leader type person. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and it's like in my head, I didn't make a specific. I didn't note a specific change in his film catalog, or his discography, or his filmography.
Right.
But when you think about it now, there was all those old darker movies and kind of more dramatic
roles,
and then now it's The Fall Guy and Barbie and
well, I mean, to
La La Land.
La La Land, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that he's done recently. Can you think of anything, Jack?
The Nice Guys, kind of.
Yeah,
That's violent,
I bet
but
that
it is
counts.
comedic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's really he's already successful, so I feel like he can just choose his roles now. Like he doesn't have to work for roles.
Oh yeah.
Unless he wants them. Like if he wants a role, yeah, he's gonna have to work for it. But like he's probably getting work offered to him left and right.
Imagine being a film producer or a casting director and calling Ryan and saying, "Hey, we got this great role for you." And then he says, "Oh yeah, that's great. I'll take it." And they go, "Oh no. You need to come in and read for it."
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't. Yeah,
He's offer only at this point.
Yeah, it's only offer. Yeah.
Other movies. Let's see: Blade Runner 2049, First Man, Song to Song, The Gray Man, and
The Gray Man.
Those are all his most recent movies.
I think Blade Runner 2020. You said 2049.
Hey, you got it.
49. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Blade Runner.
Got it.
I think he probably didn't have to get like too much into a role of being dark because it's sci-fi. It wasn't that much of a dramatic role.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
I don't know. It's pretty angsty, isn't it? Like he is literally me in that movie.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's it. I mean, we'll see what the next fun feature that he does is, but I liked the idea, the visual of Ryan Gosling, Eva Mendes, their kids playing piano, singing, dancing at home. And it's like, that sounds like a really warm household to grow up in as a child.
Can you imagine Christmas Day with Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling and their family? Oh my God.
Yeah, the riches, the spilling out of the underneath that tree. So that's all I got.
All right, Jack, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I got a couple here, just quick little ones. First up, there's one from Deadline, which is about the YouTuber Chris Stuckman. If anyone is familiar with him, hopefully there's some crossover with the Middle Class Film Class audience.
Yeah, he's like a huge YouTuber, right?
Oh yeah, he's like the go-to when it comes to movie reviews on YouTube. So sort of a legacy there.
Yeah.
We got to unseat
but-
that throne.
Yeah. Get Jack,
Yes,
Jack
I'm
Fitzpatrick.
trying. But basically, he's been working on a horror movie for the past couple years or something. It's been announced for a while, but it's releasing this year, I believe. It's called Shelby Oaks. And the news story regarding that this time is that Mike Flanagan is joining the team as a producer.
Wow.
This guy.
Mike Flanagan.
Chris Stuckman, top of the world, already crushing it in the YouTube game, and now he's got Mike Flanagan back in it for him.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's honestly a really, really big deal. Like,
I
just
agree.
being a YouTuber making a film is already big enough, but like, Mike Flanagan's a name, dude. Like,
yeah.
I read Mike Flanagan's attached to something, I'm watching that day one. Like, I absolutely love everything that he does. And I don't know, it's just sort of inspiring watching a YouTuber get to these heights, to be honest.
Is he?
It's crazy.
So yeah.
It's crazy.
Are his? I'm not familiar with the name, but are his like viewers like in the millions or?
I think he's...
Chris Stuckman.
Yeah, how many,
he's
how
got
many
like
subs?
I think he's got 2 million subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was able to, somewhat self-fund this movie himself.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
What-
I think he did it through-
If it took a couple of years, like, yeah, I'm sure he could have.
You know,
Pulled it through.
the other one that I heard about, the other YouTuber that made a horror movie was Adam Ellis. But he was more of like not so much a YouTuber. He was a comic artist. He was the guy that had Adam Ellis comics or something like that. He's the famous one that did Lost,
Okay.
the meme web comic that's been memed to death at this point.
Oh, yeah,
He made
right,
Lost.
right.
Yeah, and he made Dear David. He wrote in. I don't know if he directed it or not. Let's see here. No, directed by John McPhail, written by Adam Ellis, and this came out last year. The IMDb rating on it is at 3.9.
Ooh.
I was gonna say it's probably bad.
I've heard bad things. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, anything else on that on Stuckman?
No, that's pretty much it for that one. But I do have a second story, another
Okay.
just quick one. This is Jordan Peele's new movie has been announced with a title and a brief description. So the title is officially Him, just Him, Him, and it's going to star Marlon Wayans, and it's apparently about a football player of some kind, an American football player.
Oh, I was just going to ask.
obviously.
Thank you.
Not AFL, if you were wondering. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really that much info about it.
How are you with Jordan Peele? You a fan?
Me? Yeah, I love Get Out, and I even love Us. I think that they are perfect. I know Us is a little bit more controversial in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it came to Nope, I was pretty disappointed with Nope.
Really?
Because
Interesting.
it was very obvious. I felt like it was
Interesting.
very.
You-
I knew where it was going, you know,
picked it up,
and
you picked
and
it up a lot more than I did because I had no idea what's happening in that movie.
look, what I will say is that Nope should have been about the monkey scene. The whole movie should have been the monkey.
Mhm.
That was easily the best part. Yeah, but I definitely look forward to seeing everything that he does next. Like that hasn't gone away just because of Nope.
Is the monkey thing? Is it supposed to be like showing that you're not supposed to look the monkey in the eyes because that's how people look the monkey in the eyes and they rip their face and genitals off or something like that? And it's like
That's what. Yeah. That's what.
you don't-
That's what chimps do. Like,
but you're not supposed to do that to
in
the
gorillas.
alien, right? In this,
I don't know. I've never.
Yeah,
seen
you're not supposed to look at the UFO or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it since it came out. I haven't rewatched
okay.
it yet.
I like Jordan Peele as well. I think Get Out was probably my favorite out of all of the movies he's directed. Us.
That's fair.
Us was it. I I was on the fence. I think all the performances were well done, but the twist like just didn't do it for me. I couldn't suspend my disbelief. I couldn't suspend my disbelief of it like as much as I could with like something like Get Out. Get Out seemed well. No, I'm not gonna even say it because Pete will mute me.
What?
But no, I'm not gonna say it. I would
Is
say
it like True Detective?
well, yeah, it's like
Fuck yourself. Come on, dude. Be better. We had the throwback to episodes a couple weeks ago, and you've grown so far since then. Just kick the True Detective out of here.
All right, fine.
Move on to your next obsession. I'm just glad you're off with Dave Damashek, to be honest.
Well, that never goes away.
That's just a shame that you've heading away from the show.
Yeah, that's just a shame that I have to hide.
Oh,
There is Danzig.
yeah. What happened to Danzig?
Well, I kind of burned myself out on Danzig,
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm putting it on the bookshelf in my head, and I'll blow off the dust here probably soon.
Tyler, I have some news to break to you.
All right.
I listened to Danzig for the first time. I'd never heard of Danzig before your obsession.
Okay.
Man, that is dad music, dude. that is dad rock.
No, it's badass rock. That's what it is.
Are you sure?
Tyler, you're listening to dad rock now.
I guess so.
I've
I've reached the age.
Does it ever hurt your soul when you hear Linkin Park come on classic rock stations?
I've never heard Linkin Park on
yeah.
classic rock stations.
Green Day, Blink-182 occasionally.
Hey, I like Green Day. That's a good band.
I know. It's like they're playing Dookie on
the Eagle,
yeah, on
96.9, the Eagle.
96.9, bringing Sacramento classic rock hits. Here comes Green Day.
I'm Tom Nakashima.
Yeah. Joe Bridges in the chat says Stuckman's at 2.
Regional humor.
2.04 million subscribers.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
All right, cool. You got anything else, Jack?
No, that was all for now.
Alright.
Just 2 quick ones.
Now, on to me.
Ooh, onto me.
All over me. So this is coming from slashfilm.com. Sigourney Weaver in talks to join Star Wars movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, this story, it's in talks, so nothing's set in stone. But this story excited me in 2 ways. Because, 1, I love The Mandalorian. Or I guess 3 or 4 ways. 1, I love The Mandalorian. 2, I didn't know they were making a movie about The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I didn't either, yeah.
And 3, Sigourney Weaver might show up in it. So that I just this story. This is just like a retelling of a story that broke through the Hollywood Reporter. Basically, I'm not gonna like read through like verbatim through the article, but I just wanted to talk about that and say there's no details about Weaver's role. They're still being kept under wraps, but what is confirmed is that they are making a movie about The Mandalorian, and I love the show, so we're getting it. I believe the 4th season might be the final season, and then they end it with a movie. And I am so excited for it. And I was meditating on what role she would play. Would she play a Jedi? Would she play a Mandalorian?
I think she'd be a good Sith Lord.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be out of left field.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd play just the, evil military type, right? That's the easy go-to. Suits her.
Yeah. I mean, she did that in, what was it?
Avatar?
Elysium.
Chappie and Avatar, but she wasn't a bad guy in Avatar.
Oh, no, not Avatar. No, you're
Was
right.
it not Elysium? I
I
thought it was Elysium too.
I thought that was Helen Hunt.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well,
Helen Hunt, Sigourney Weaver, all the same. Jodie Foster. I mean, who's counting anyways?
Yeah, I don't know. They're all very attractive women. But yeah, I also wanted to ask you guys, like, did you guys enjoy the Mandalorian show so far?
I watched the first 2 seasons, and I liked everything I saw about it. I really liked that they gave Bill Burr a decent sized part, and he crushed it.
Yeah, Bill Burr crushes every role.
I'm here
he's
for
in.
more Bill Burr in my life.
Yeah,
in
same.
any capacity.
Well, oh, wow.
Any. You hear me? You hear me, Bill?
What about you, Jack? Did you watch The Mandalorian?
I've seen like 3 episodes.
You didn't like it? Not your thing? Is Star Wars
You
not
know,
your thing?
Star Wars generally isn't really my thing. So
Why
yeah.
not?
So I'm no authority on this, you know. Because I struggle with like, you know, space and magic and stuff.
He doesn't like Lord of the Rings either.
You don't like
I
Lord
don't
of
like
the Rings?
Dune.
No, he doesn't like Dune.
don't like
Lord of the
Dune.
Rings.
Yeah, I didn't like Dune either.
They shot Lord of the Rings down the street from his fucking house, and he doesn't even like it.
Wait, really?
That was New Zealand, dude.
Shit. It's like California to Nevada.
Okay, so you don't like Star Wars. So you don't like fantasy. So I'm assuming you don't like
Yeah,
Star Trek.
fantasy. I've never seen Star Trek. No.
You never seen Next Gen? All right. Well,
I like Harry Potter. Harry Potter's an exception to the fantasy
you like
thing.
Harry you like okay, I'm just trying to get this straight. You like Harry Potter,
Yes.
You like magic with a stick, but not
But
if the
you
stick's
d-
not there.
but you don't like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
I guess
Right.
if there's lasers involved, it's like, nah, not anymore.
Soon
Nah,
as- soon
get
as
out
the
of
laser
here.
comes out.
So, yeah,
That's not even true. That's not even true because I like the MCU. I don't know. I'm weird, dude. I contradict myself left, right, and center. What do you want?
yeah, that's true. I do too. I understand.
Jack has a great Star Wars ranking episode where he ranks the 9.
Yeah,
I think it's more than 9, right? Because you also have Star Wars Rogue One in there too, right? And Solo.
I had Kenobi in there too. I think it was 11 or 12.
I think
or
it was
something.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember seething.
I have some controversial takes.
of the list.
Oh, you watched his video?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you're a subscriber.
Well,
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, I think I'm a subscriber. I'm not sure. I'll check when I get back home, and I will do if I'm not. Wow, I mean, like that's illuminating for myself. I didn't know that about you.
We're dealing with a sociopath over here. Don't like Star Wars.
But don't worry, Jack. I contradict myself all the time. It's just a matter. It's life.
Well, here's the thing.
We're
like,
complicated human beings.
the second that they took the original 3 Star Wars and added sequels and prequels and all that shit, it turned into something.
Turn it into a franchise.
It turned into some. Well, it was already a 3-movie like trilogy franchise, I suppose. And it's like it really turned into less, like, I feel like less pure, as pretentious as that sounds, you know.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
turned-
Yeah, but I like the sequels most.
Yeah, well, fuck you. How about that?
Cut his camera.
Yeah,
Cut it off.
That's
right
fair.
We're cutting the mic.
All right, say it.
Oh, they shut the internet off on the other side of the world. Oops.
All right. Yeah. So that was an illuminating conversation. Let's get into some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, indeed.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pig.
Streaming picks, movies that we watched last week. Pete, what do you have for us today?
Okay, what do I have for us today? Last thing I watched last week was Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
I went on I've been on a spree of old kung fu movies. Arrow Video released like a restoration of a lot of the old Shaw Brothers movies, and I didn't know much about them, but I like every time I'm on like physical media binge, I'm looking for the next thing to add to the collection, next deal or whatever. And I try to buy them on discount, so I'm kind of scrolling around, even if I'm not really in the market for anything specific on physical media. And I kept seeing this fucking box. It says Shaw Scope, and it was a huge box set with like a billion discs. You know what I'm talking about, Jack?
Yeah, I do. It's like pretty sought after.
Yeah, it's like a big thing, and I kept looking at it like, what is this? Should I buy this? I felt like Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. He's like, why don't I own this? But it was. It turns out the Shaw Brothers were like this really prolific directing duo or group. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 or whatever. And they made a lot of the classics of old kung fu movies in Hong Kong. And again, this may be 100% inaccurate, so listeners, feel free to check me on this. But Jason Kleberg from Force 5 podcast, he had the box set. I don't know if he got that set or another one, and then he got a supplementary set, and it had some of the same movies in there. So he put it up on the Facebook, and hey, I'm selling this at a discounted price. I swooped it up, and it was like 3 discs that had 4 movies each on it. And I'm working my way through all these old Kung Fu movies. And I have to say, the quality and the restoration from Arrow is fantastic.
Nice.
It's really good. The movies are not always the best, but man, it's like all of the tropes that you think of when you think of old Kung Fu movies come from these, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more. So I watched 1997's Executioners from Shaolin. Really, really fun movie. And these are all streaming on Arrow Video Service, so technically you can watch them streaming.
Yeah.
And I believe they're streaming in the restored 4K.
Arrow, of course. There's another streaming service we don't have here in Australia.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't even know where. I couldn't tell you a single person that has Arrow streaming service, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I watched 1976 Challenge of the Masters, also in 1977's Executioners of Shaolin, and then what was the third one? I'm trying to find it here on my list. But they're very, very fun. Kind of. They seem like low budget movies, but for the time, I think they were very well made and very kind of sought after. And the guy in Executioners from Shaolin, Joseph Bridges says you can get Arrow as an add-on to Amazon Prime for $8. That's a great deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like $8 a month.
Oh, maybe we do have that.
So anyway,
Maybe I just wasn't aware.
Yeah, you probably could, but so Executioners from Shaolin is it introduces the character of Pai Mei, who is later reintroduced in the Kill Bill series from Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
obviously.
okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the subtitles he calls him Bai Mei, Baimei, but in the IMDb credits, the actual credit says Pai Mei, and he is a fucking spitting image of Pai Mei from Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Long white hair, long white mustache.
Yeah.
Just the.
And does he do like the characterization?
Oh yes. Oh yes, he does. He's stroking his beard and stroking his mustache.
I love it.
I always figured that was a reference to something. I just wasn't aware.
Yeah. So, and the interesting thing about it is this movie and also both of these movies I just mentioned, Challenge of the Masters and Executioners from Shaolin, they both feature the actor who plays Pai Mei in Kill Bill, but he's a young man in this.
Oh.
Yeah, his name is let me see where he is. Oh, Gordon Liu Chiahui. Chiahui. Liu Chiahui. Yeah, I got it. Nailed it.
Get Tyler to read that.
On IMDb, it's just Liu Chiahui, but on Letterboxd and some other places, I've heard him referred as Gordon. He takes on the American first name of Gordon.
Okay.
So, and he also, not only playing Pai Mei, he also plays the leader of the Crazy 88. He's the guy with the shaved head who fights the bride on like the top of the banister. They're doing that great like fight on top of the railing. So he is a young man in both of these movies. In one, he's like the main character. In Executioners from Shaolin, he's only in the opening fight. And I'll tell you, these fight sequences are fucking bananas. Some of them are like so-so and they're like good enough. But then every once in a while, they'll have a fight sequence that has weapons involved. Like long sticks and sort of like knives on sticks and nunchucks and stuff like that. And you're like, they're not fucking around. This is like, this production value and like the direction and the shot composition is not quite as impressive and cinematic as something like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but the skill of the fighters is damn near there.
Yeah, the choreography and stuff is really there.
Yeah, it's really good. So I mean, Crouching Tiger is unfair because like the whole fucking movie is that there's like 7 fantastic fight scenes in it that are just unbelievable. Yeah. In this, you might get 2 or 3 per movie,
right?
But still, absolutely worth watching. I put both of those as like 3.5 stars, just because they're not the greatest movies in the world, but you know, for the history of it and what you're getting, I think that absolutely it's worth your time.
All right,
Joel Shinneman's in the chat.
Have you seen Enter the Dragon?
No, I have not seen any Bruce Lee movies.
That's a good one. That's one of the few I have seen.
Oh, cool. It's funny. Bruce Lee is brought up because I watched a movie from that Adam Murphy did on a streaming night, and it was a Bruce Lee ripoff. It was like Bruce PlayStation movie. It was after Bruce Lee that you and I know died.
Oh, okay.
And they did basically had a bunch of Bruce Lee like knockoffs who came into the world, and his name is Bruce Lee, but it's L-E, not L-E-E.
Yeah.
So they can say starring Bruce Lee. And they give him the big dumb haircut that Bruce Lee had at some points in his career. And God, I don't think I even listed it because it's so bad.
Is it just the guy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, it's that guy. No, because these were back in like the 70s and 80s or whatever. They released back then. It was rough. Joel Shinneman says he wants to know if that's where all the Wu-Tang samples come from. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I would not doubt it.
A lot of great samples.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to more recent movies. Anyone But You, the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney joint. It's a rom-com. It got a lot of notoriety because it was very, very, very successful at the box office. And
there was some drama or something with the actors dating or not dating or something.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, I don't know celebrity drama. Don't ask me. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Tell us more, Jack. I don't know. This feels like a really bad movie that ended up winning me over near the end. Because half of the movie I'm like, this is so cheesy. This is so bad. The setups are bad. The dialogue is rough. There's a lot of cheesiness, and it's almost like it's not like a Lifetime movie, but it's like the brand of humor makes it really hard to root for this movie. And it's a bummer too, because the guy that directed it also directed Easy A, which is absolutely fantastic movie in my opinion. He also did Peter Rabbit and Friends with Benefits. His name is Will Gluck. Will Gluck.
Gluck.
Yeah.
Gluck.
Yeah, like Goofy. Gluck. It's sitting at a 3.0 on Letterboxd. I think that's probably right. Some people are going to really love this.
Respectable.
Yeah, and some people are going to absolutely hate it. But I will say that the clunky dialogue between Powell and Sweeney throughout most of the movie is terrible, but there's enough laugh out loud moments to sustain like a casual viewer.
Yeah.
You're not going into a type of the movie like this to look for Oscar winning performances. But they are two very attractive people, and they are, for most of the movie, wearing very little. So there's your selling point. Go watch two hot people mince around in barely nothing.
Yeah.
And I think they're in Australia too, actually. I think that's where it takes place.
Yeah. The one thing I've heard about this movie is that one of the characters says dramatically, I know where they are. I know where they would have gone. It's like their place. And it turns out to be the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
Like the only fucking thing everybody knows about Australia. Like apparently that's very personal to the character or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It makes a little bit more sense than that, but not much. There's a point where like one of the characters talks about how he met his wife and he jumped off a moving train to meet her at the Eiffel Tower, I think it was. And
an idiot.
And he jumps off of a moving helicopter to meet her at the Sydney Opera House or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How romantic.
It was either the Opera House or the Vegemite Factory, one or the other. They were going to go to manufacturing, processing facility.
Icons.
Yeah. So there's a pretty good supporting cast as well in this movie. There's an actor named Gaeta who plays in Dave, Little Dicky's TV series.
Yeah.
He's great. I love him. I've only seen him in just these two movies, and he's super good. And no, Andrew Martin, Sydney Sweeney cannot act. She's not a good actor.
Ooh, hot take.
No, she's not. No, I don't think she has it. But anyways, you could do a lot worse than this. I'm not going to run out and tell a bunch of people to go watch this movie, but your parents might like it. Your older sister might like it.
Excuse me, have you seen the scene from Euphoria where she says, I've never been happier or something? Excuse me.
I try to block out my time watching Euphoria because aren't all those kids supposed to be teenagers and she's topless for like half of the movie?
It's kind of strange.
I know
yeah.
she's not she's not underage.
No.
The
It's
the characters
it's weird.
supposed to be 17.
I've never.
It
Seen
is-
the
it
show,
is
so
weird.
And you're like, get in that bathtub. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's Anyone But You. Let's see, where is that streaming? It's I want to say Peacock. Let's see here. Maybe. No, it's on Netflix. Easily accessible. Next up, I watched Josie and the Pussycats. Also a recommendation from Kleberg from Force 5. His recent episode was top 5 fictional bands in movies. And he did not name Josie and the Pussycats as one of his list, but instead, Du Jour, the boy band performing at the beginning of the movie, was on his top 5 list.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we got clever.
He pulled a bait and switch. But yeah, this is a ton of fun. Totally turn of the century time capsule. It's like absolutely, it's so funny. And it's very meta because they're talking about how corporate and capitalistic the music industry is and how terrible it is to have all these product placements and stuff while having those same product placements throughout the movie.
Oh, I see.
Like they're like, isn't this crazy? There's McDonald's logos and Target logos all over this room, but they had to get permission and get paid by those companies to put them in the movie.
Totally. Yeah.
It's really funny in that regard, but yeah, total social satire and some great songs. I think that Parker Posey, she's like the big bad in this, and she's like a proto Mugatu from Zoolander. Will what's his name? Will Ferrell's Mugatu. Yeah, and she's basically, and it's a very similar plot line to that. They're trying to brainwash these people to get people to buy more products. Where in Zoolander, they're trying to brainwash him to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why this movie has such low ratings. There's quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be considered a bad movie. It knows what it is, and it's I think a super fun movie. You can't stream that for free anywhere. I had to actually rent that one, but I wanted to talk about it because it's been on my watch list for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh,
Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. This movie's fucking great. I don't know what makes this movie so fun and fantastic, but there are times when I was watching it and I'm like, this is could be my favorite movie of the year if I watched it, when the year it came out, 2022. Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie where they both get high and they think they're being chased by bad guys, but nobody gives a fuck. But they're just freaking themselves out, and it's hilarious. Like, it's so good.
That is a standout scene. That is so funny. They both take acid, and Nicolas Cage trying to drive a car on acid is so funny. It's very meta because obviously Nicolas Cage is playing himself.
Yeah.
So I thought that Pedro Pascal was playing himself, but no, he's playing basically a drug cartel leader, or what you're assuming to be a drug cartel leader. And he is so charismatic and so likable that you want to spend the entire movie just watching Pedro Pascal's character. I can't remember his name, but his character is geeking out over Nicolas Cage because he's a huge Nicolas Cage fan.
Yeah.
And he gets Nicolas Cage to come play his birthday party. And he's not a musician, so he doesn't have anything to play. He's just there to hang out and be cool and be Nicolas Cage. This is really, really fun. I think that you would probably dig this.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check it out.
It's streaming on the Roku channel for free. I think that's where I watched it at.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, it's not streaming anywhere else. You can rent it or whatever, but yeah, Roku underrated.
I might just rent it.
Just watch it on Roku. It's free.
I don't have the service
app.
The app is free?
Yeah,
okay.
the app's free.
All right, well, I'll download it.
Yeah.
If anybody's wondering, it's streaming on Netflix in Australia.
Dang.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I watched Mighty Joe Young on the Disney Channel. Brianna's been talking to me about it for years and how she says she cannot pass like a cattle car on the freeway still to this day without thinking that there's a gorilla inside.
That's like the Final Destination thing with the logs.
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, I wonder if Joe's in there. And this is from let's see, when was this released? 1998. This features Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton's kind of like the hero. Charlize Theron, Rade Zabergia, who's the guy who gets the coat in Batman Begins from Bruce Wayne. Careful, it's easy with that coat.
Right.
It was a nice coat. That guy. And a bunch of other people like David Paymer, you know him. Regina King's in this. She's pretty young in this. And this is a pretty good Disney sort of original movie. Like, I don't know if this would be something that I would recommend in 1998 for people to go see in theaters, but for kids, it's like, this is pretty fantastic.
I always thought it was like a Disney Channel movie. Like, I didn't know it was theatrically released.
I don't know if it is or not. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. It feels like it wouldn't necessarily need to be in a theater for, for what it was. But the guy that directed it, Ron Underwood, he also directed Tremors and City Slickers. So he's got like an interesting sort of The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Oh my God.
Oh no. I'm surprised that didn't end his career.
I know, maybe it did.
Yeah, maybe it
Ron Underwood. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I think people take it for granted that human beings don't want to kill wild animals. Like in the civilized world, not a third world scenario, you're like, yeah, it's probably bad to fish sharks to the edge of extinction. You know,
It's probably
bad.
It's probably bad.
It's probably bad. To,
I think it's pretty bad that we're fishing something out of extinction.
Yeah,
to extinction.
It's pretty bad to. Joe Bridges says there was 100% a theater movie. There was no streaming in 1988, but they did have the Disney Channel, Joe.
Yeah,
that's where I watched a lot of my crappy old Disney movies. But anyways, you're taking for granted that everybody just assumes that and knows that, and we're like, yeah, it's bad. That animal's going to go extinct. Let's not kill a bunch of them and then do nothing with their corpses. So before that happened, though, before like the modern era, I think there were a lot of people that just didn't give two fucks about animals.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you think about the buffalo extinction back in the 1800s. There's that famous picture of a guy with like
standing on the mountain of skulls.
Yeah, a mountain of skulls.
I just mean in like the 1970s, 1980s, where people like, I'm going to take a really concerted effort to not poach animals. I don't think people really thought about that. It was just like, who cares? So the reason I'm bringing all that up is like, I feel like this probably brought a lot of great awareness to animal conservation, specifically for gorillas, because a gorilla's kind of a freaky animal. It's kind of scary. It's like people don't want to save sharks because they're mean.
Gorillas!
Oh no, a gorilla! So
I'm freaked out. You're just from the mentioning gorillas.
It's not like saving a cute sloth or something like that. It's a big, scary fucking silverback gorilla. So
yeah, that's a good point. You don't think of them as like innocent little things that need saving or whatever.
Yeah, they don't need saving. They just they're killing machines.
Right.
So in this, they really paint Joe Young, the monkey's named Joe Young. They paint him as in a very sympathetic light, and it's good. I know it's good. So I got a couple other ones too, but I really won't talk too much about them. The one that I will reiterate though is with all the chatter going on about Last Stop in Yuma County and how great that movie is. It's the new Jim Cummings starred movie, directed by Francis Galupi. I went back and rewatched Thunder Road, the original short that brought Jim Cummings into the zeitgeist of Hollywood. It's a 12-minute short. It's available on Vimeo for free. It won like 1 billion awards on the festival circuit and then basically catapulted Jim Cummings into more or less a household name for film enthusiasts. And I just forgot just how fucking fantastic, because it's a one-shot. It's a 12-minute uncut scene, and it is heartbreaking, and it is fucking hilarious. It is impressive. It is so cool, and I think that people should watch it. So I'm going to have a link to that in the show notes.
Oh, so okay.
I've seen it, but I didn't remember that it was in one take.
Yeah. And an interesting story about that, too, because there's a really long uncut scene in the full-length version of Thunder Road, and they made it into a full-length feature, obviously. And near the end, where he's losing his mind, he's in his underwear outside of the police station. It's not 12 minutes, but it's pretty long. It's a pretty long take. He said that they had the same process for both of those oneers. to practice them. He said, I'd get home from work and I would go for a walk at this abandoned golf course. And it was a 12-minute thing. I could do 5 takes in an hour. I could practice it 5 times in an hour, and I'd walk around for 2 hours. I'd do 10 practice times a night, every night for 3 months.
Wow.
And after
dedication.
After I did, it's $300 a month. What is it? No, 300, 10 takes a night. Yeah, 300 a month times 3 months. He almost did 1,000 run-throughs of it, so that when it was on film, he knew it like the back of his hand. He could get through it, and it seemed natural and real.
Wow.
So it's just is the math sound.
Doing the math in my head, in my mouth.
I know. I do that too.
So watch Thunder Road, the short. That's what I'm telling everybody.
Right on. Cool. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Jack, what streaming picks do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so I'll go through a few. First up, I just want to say I've gone ape mad, ape crazy. Yeah, obviously with the release of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I wanted to go back, make sure I was up to date with the previous trilogy, the Matt Reeves trilogy, although he didn't actually direct the first one.
Yeah.
But
I thought you were
let's just
gonna
pretend
say-
he did.
I thought you were going to say.
I always say I call the Matt Reeves trilogy.
I thought you were going to say I was going to go back to the Tim Burton movie and then go on to the trilogy.
No, I did watch the original, which I'll get to in a sec. But yeah, so I watched Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes. That's wrong, actually. Hang on. So it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but then it's War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
I kind of hate that change.
Yeah,
but
it's
anyway.
weird. The structure of the name.
Those are incredible. That's not a hot take to say.
No, I don't think.
I would say Dawn especially. I gave that a 5 on Letterboxd. Like these are all rewatches, by the way.
That's
but
the one with Woody Harrelson, right?
no, that's the third one. That's War.
Oh.
Dawn is the one with the guy from Terminator and Oppenheimer. What's his name? Jason Clarke.
Oh yeah, Jason Clarke.
Yeah. Dawn is the one that's basically just like whether or not a war is going to break out between the two factions, and they want to keep peace. Some of them want to keep peace. Some of them want just war. There's good and bad on both sides. I really like the kind of, I don't know, sympathetic light that you get from both sides. Nobody's the bad guy. It's really clever.
Yeah.
Whereas the third one with Woody Harrelson is a bit more black and white. Just like, yeah, the humans are kind of the bad guys in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all like pretty incredible. That being said, I then went to watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in cinemas. Dude, that let me down, I gotta say. Like that does not hold as much weight emotionally or anything close to that trilogy, if you ask me. Yeah, and it's kind of like illogical too. Like I'm not one to usually complain about like plot holes and stuff, but with this, I just question certain things. I'm like, really? They didn't think to do this in certain situations? Like, there were just some contrivances like that kind of I didn't really buy. Pissed me off a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Did you think that the main girl was miscast?
Okay, so we talked about this briefly a little bit.
Yeah,
You said that she has iPhone face.
Yeah. She looks like she's in the modern era.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but it is technically set in the future, right? So
Then what are the other caveman people
I'm
look
okay
like
with
that,
then? That's a good point, actually. That is a good point.
She's got the cheekbone structure of like a fucking supermodel. And then, spoiler alert, you see another human at the very, very, very end, like a minute from the very end. And even in the mask that she's wearing, she's got a fucking cheekbones like a model. I'm like, who is hiring these gorgeous women to play destitute future dwellers, you know?
Pretty people can exist in the apocalypse too, Pete.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the new one, the 2024 one. That's my least favorite of all the Apes movies that I've seen.
That's been kind of
I also went
thing I've been hearing.
I also went back to watch the original as well.
Oh, cool.
Which not as good as the trilogy, in my opinion, but way better than the new one. it's very dated. Like there's action scenes in there where it's like, yeah, that's very slow. That's like
It's like old Star Trek where they're fighting like this.
It's like
Super
it's
slow.
not super impressive, but the makeup sort of is like there's prosthetic mask parts, and there's like parts of the mask or whatever that's like missing. So it like really blends into the people's like faces, if that makes any sense.
right.
And they're mostly just wearing like these nose things, really, and like head things. But it's pretty seamless. Like for the time, their eyes look very human, and I mean,
They are
not human, but
Well, they are
realistic. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But I was really interested in the movie overall because it was all about like pretty much in this future. I mean, everybody knows what Planet of the Apes is about, right? but in this future, it's like man is the one who is looked at as just a beast, and it's like it's kind of a clever way of making you look at like animals in more of a sympathetic light, being like it's not exactly animals' faults, I suppose, that they are
That they're
sort of
dumb
lower
and
on
tasty.
the chain. Yeah, that they're dumb and tasty, exactly. So in that way, I think it was really ahead of its time, I guess.
How'd
yeah,
you like
I liked it.
the part where Charlton Heston says, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty apes," and then they all go. It's like iconic.
You know what? I reckon it was. I reckon he was cast absolutely perfectly
Oh, yeah.
because he looks intelligent. Like I believe everything that he says. If that makes any sense.
I love.
And so when he said that scene, that's like a shocking moment because that's the first time that he speaks in front of the apes, and they're like in disbelief about that. And it's like it really sells how heavy that moment is.
yeah,
Yeah.
And yeah,
it feels like
it was
a
cool,
like a
yeah.
capital F film from that era. You know,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, and then what else did I
Oh,
watch?
where's that
Just got my
streaming on?
letterboxd. Oh my god, I didn't look. I didn't look.
you
I didn't look.
you go to the next one and I'll look it up for you.
They're all on Disney. I just remembered.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
In Australia, anyway. Then I watched. What else did I watch? I watched a comedy special. This one's just on YouTube, so it's definitely an easy one to watch. It is called Ruben Solo. That's the comedian's name.
Ah, yes.
And the show name is specifically called Feedback Loop. And this is officially the most creative stand-up special I've ever seen. Though saying stand-up special isn't really giving it enough like credit. It's really more of a performance or something. It's like an art piece,
Yeah.
but it's very silly and very ironic, and it knows exactly what it's doing. It's like a deconstruction of stand-up comedy, if anything. And I know Pete watched it too, so
Yeah, you
why
recommend-
don't you say some words?
You recommended it to me, and I thought, I saw some clips of this guy. He's got the one where he's like, you guys like impressions? Well, I'm going to do an impression of me 7 seconds ago. You guys like impressions? Here's an impression of me from 7 seconds ago. And it just goes on
and
forever,
on and
forever
on.
until he gets like basically they shut the lights off and stuff. It's pretty creative. I couldn't help but think of Bo Burnham. I couldn't help but think of because he's got some easel, some like whiteboard or like drawing pad, giant drawing pad. Dimitri Martin.
Dimitri Martin.
Yeah, I told Jack to look up some Dimitri because he'd never
Yeah.
seen his stuff before. But I thought it was very, very good. I don't think I was nearly as high on it as you were, but I love the fact that he's doing interesting stuff with it.
Yeah, I just thought it was really impressive more than anything. Like I did find it really funny, but like the sort of timing and everything and like crowd work that he does as well. He literally gets somebody from the crowds, supposedly anyway. It might be a fake, we're not exactly sure, but
Yeah.
but he gets somebody from the audience and they essentially run the show for like a few minutes, and like he somehow controls that situation. And I don't know, I just thought it was pretty ingenious. I
That
was
part was
impressed by
very
things like that.
creatively written and executed. I have to give that guy a lot of credit. Plus,
Yeah,
super
'cause he
likable,
gives-
too.
He gives the guy a script, and like so the random audience person is reading off the script and he's reacting to it in real time, but like he acts like he doesn't know what's going on, and like part of the script says show Ruben Solo this part of the script, and it's like what? And so he goes and looks at it, and
And he goes,
I don't
"Oh,
know.
that's,"
There's-
and then every time he says something ridiculous, he goes, "That's not on the script, by the way." Even though, it's
Oh,
on,
yeah,
even though
yeah,
you know
yeah.
it's on the script. Yeah.
Of course it is.
It's-
Yeah, yeah,
That guy
yeah.
did a
yeah.
good job too. When he came out like on stage, like as he was heading the show now, I was like, maybe this guy's a plant. He seems very comfortable on mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but the fact that you don't know one way or the other kind of makes it funnier. So, like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Moving on. What else did I watch? I watched an Australian movie called The Cost. And this is set about 40 minutes away from where I live,
Oh,
actually, which is very rare for me. And this is basically a pretty standard revenge story. It's about the husband and brother of a woman who got killed, tracking down the killer and taking him down like out into the bush to, do whatever they want with him. You can imagine what that involves. But it's very much all about sort of, it's a bit on the nose when it comes to it, but it's all about like what is the cost, I guess, of going after, revenge and being bloodlust and whatnot. Like, it is definitely a story you've seen 1,000 billion times before.
Like I saw,
but it's executed really
the
well.
Devil was kind of something in that vein.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. And this is streaming on Stan, the Australian service. Stan? Yeah, that's what it's called. Eminem. Yes.
Is Eminem streaming service, you said?
Yes.
Dear
Yes,
Stan, I'm
that's
just
the-
writing.
that's the joke, anyway.
Watch this movie, this Australian revenge flick.
Yeah. And lastly, I guess I'll say I also watched Wayne's World for the first time.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah.
I was not nearly as impressed by Wayne's
you
World as most people seem to be.
I'm cutting your mic. Where's the button for that? You're gone.
I feel much the way about Wayne's World as I do Star Wars, I suppose.
Ah! I can't believe
Wayne's
it.
Wayne's World is irritating.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Did you hear the part where they said swing?
You know what Wayne's World thinks is funny?
What?
Yelling and falling over and yelling and stuff like that. That's what Wayne's World thinks is funny.
Mike Myers made his money.
But-
he set his table on that.
Yeah, that's how he made his way.
Yeah.
I will say there was one very funny part in Wayne's World. Unintentionally funny.
Oh, God.
At the start, they're driving in the car and they're listening to Queen.
Yeah.
And they're acting like it's like, oh yeah, whoa, this is like hard rock metal music, yeah. And it's fucking Queen, dude. It's like rock. It's like soft rock. It's pop rock. And they're acting like it's the most hardcore shit they've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Look, maybe back then it was.
This is
I don't
1992,
know.
you have to understand.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly. I'm looking at this through 2024 eyes for sure.
Was Tia Carrere's band Crucial Taunt? Did they wail? Were they hard?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
His girlfriend's band.
Ah!
Crucial Taunt.
I'm sorry, I forgot that detail.
What he's saying is this is how forgettable this movie is. to him.
Come on.
Yeah.
Who's playing?
That's exactly
who's
what I'm
playing
saying.
tonight? The Shitty Beatles. They any good? They stink. No, that's the worst joke in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It makes me really sad. I just, it's very sad.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
He's
People do-
apologizing for not liking something.
People do things just because they're getting paid, and that's just really sad.
I admit the ads that they do.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was good.
That part is good.
bit. Yeah. Anything else?
Last night I also watched The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh yeah.
The Dracula movie.
Mhm.
I didn't really have high expectations for it or anything, but yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a lot more brutal than I was expecting it to be.
Mhm.
They did not hold back with certain things.
Yeah.
I guess I won't say because that's a spoiler, but yeah, man, it was pretty hardcore actually, and I actually watched it with my mom as well.
Oh, shit.
And
how'd she like it?
she had to hide her eyes away. She didn't see much of Dracula, I will say.
Really? Mama Fitz was not a fan?
Yeah, she was a little mad at me. Anyway.
You're like, Mom, I didn't make the movie. Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to me now. So I'm going to. I have 2 streaming picks. One I logged in on my letterbox, which I will read from now.
Oh, hello. Come along, won't you? As Tyler reads his own letterboxed reviews. This is me, myself, and Tyler.
Great, awesome.
All right.
Hit us with it. Hit us with it.
So I watched American Sniper this last week.
Interesting pick.
Gave it 1.5 stars.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
That was strictly for the baby.
So the reason why, well, I'll just get into it right now. This is a right-leaning person's favorite film. It's got guns, the military, and directed by Clint Eastwood. I am not going to say I don't like military-like films. I'm a sucker for American military propaganda, in parentheses. Don't worry, I don't fall for it. However, this movie falls really flat. Bradley Cooper acts like he doesn't want to be on set. The story, based on a quote-unquote true story, could have been much more compelling, but Eastwood somehow made the most interesting story so boring. In fact, it seems like everyone didn't want to be there. All in all, I think this was a movie pandering to the right-wing American rather than focusing on the complicated life of being the deadliest sniper in Navy history. There was some good scenes of tension, but they were very few. I believe Cooper could be a good dramatic actor. He just needs the right script and director. Overall, I grade this movie a D. End of report.
D, huh?
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I just, oh man. So I actually did look up the main character, Chris Kyle, to just see like how embellished the movie was. And it was embellished, but he does have the highest confirmed kill counts in the Navy. So I
didn't know Navy had snipers.
Well, they're
Aren't they in the water?
No, they're SEALs, Navy SEALs. He was a SEAL.
I don't know. I don't know why when I think Navy SEAL, I'm like up close and personal. It makes no sense. I mean, this is on me, not anything else.
But yeah, I mean, like, no, like the fact that the Navy did confirm like he had like the highest kill count in Navy history, but like, you know, he was kind of a piece of shit too. So yeah, American Sniper, that's streaming. Yeah, it's streaming on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that.
We have a lot of American Sniper talk in the chat. Joseph Navarro says he watched it on a plane. Joel Shinneman says he likes American Sniper. And Joe Bridges says, when I saw American Sniper in the theater, when he finally got to the enemy sniper, someone in the audience stood up, pumped his fist, and said, "Fuck yeah, America." Wow.
I could see that happening.
That happens all the time here, Jack, by the way.
That's terrifying.
We're very patriotic over here.
And to be fair, though, Joseph Bridges lives in somewhere in the middle of America. So they're really proud of being an American over there.
Right. So, yeah, American Sniper, based on the story of Chris Kyle and his life in the military and in his personal life. I mean, like, I wanted to like it, but it was so kind of boring.
I remember liking it well enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I think I liked it okay too. I haven't rewatched it though.
Maybe I was in a mood, but and then I watched another movie recommended by a dear friend of mine. This movie is called. This is 1981's Mommy Dearest.
Wait a second, you got 2 new movies this week?
I do. Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's historic.
I know, this is exciting.
So 1981's Mommy Dearest. This movie Holy shit! It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. Have you heard of this movie before?
Oh yeah, Jay-Z sampled the scene where she says,
I have not.
"No wire hangers ever."
Oh wait, he did.
He sampled that in Pablo. What's the album? This is a more recent album, and it's all about Daddy Dearest. The song's called Daddy Dearest, and it's about him talking to Blue Ivy, his daughter.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, that's I know a lot about this movie.
Oh, good.
It's yeah.
Have you've seen it though too?
I've never seen the whole thing. I've seen most of it multiple times.
Oh, okay. Well, the relationship between Christina Crawford and her adoptive mother, Joan Crawford, is presented from Christina's view. Unable to bear children, Joan in 1940 was denied children through regular adoption agencies due to her twice divorced status and being a single working woman. Her lover at the time, Metro Goldwyn Mayer lawyer Grev Savitt, was able to... Sorry, I
Is
lost
this from
my...
the movie or this like in production?
This is the storyline.
Oh, okay.
Was able to go through a brokerage to adopt a baby girl who would be Christina, the first of Joan's 4 adoptive children. Joan believes that her own difficult upbringing... I think this is wrong because I only saw 2 children in this movie. I don't think there was 4. Anyway, so long story short, it's about this mom who wants a child, gets a child, and then she like kind of uses it like as like a teddy bear sort of thing, and then eventually, you know, the child grows up and becomes, you know, misbehaves because they're human, and she doesn't like it. She just wants, like, she likes the. What I was thinking throughout the whole movie was like she likes the idea of a child, not that she wants to bear the responsibility of raising and nurturing a child. There's this one scene in particular which really made me like squirm in my seat when you were talking about the Jay-Z sample. Yeah. That scene is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
It's brutal.
I've seen that scene a number of times.
Yeah, where she just keeps beating her with a hanger, and for her to, when she's grown up, and for her to like still like show affection to her, like was wild to me. But I mean, I guess that's like a statement on like abusive relationships.
It is. It is. You don't get. I mean, when you have like an abusive relationship, whether it's parental or familial or like romantic, it's like the decisions that you make regarding the relationship, staying in, staying out, how you interact with the other person. It's not like you can just turn it on and turn it off and say, oh, I'm just going to leave him. It's because like sometimes, you know, many times people, they're fearing for their life or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it's your mother, what do you do?
I know, because like that's like your only source of...
If you care about them.
Yeah. What if you want milk?
Yeah. So I guess so.
No, I don't.
Well, it's also if you grew up with it, like abuse. Yeah, you don't know anything. You don't know anything else. Like
yeah. And so
it's fucked up.
This the acting is very well done in this movie though. And when I looked it up for the show, I didn't realize it was released in 1981. I thought it looks a lot older, but I think that's due to like the really good set and costume design, because it's supposed to take place in like the golden era of Hollywood. So yeah, it was an interesting story of like how a woman who can't bear children, who is very vain and narcissistic and borderline sociopathic, like it's kind of like a kid who like wants a dog, like a puppy, like, oh, I want a puppy, but they just like the idea of owning a puppy, not like
taking care of it, being a good pet owner.
Yeah. And so it was really well
perfect. Is it a perfect Mother's Day watch?
Oh yeah, I meant to say that, like, because it was Mother's Day, I wanted to watch something that had to do with mothers. I thought about watching Mother, yeah, but
instead you just listened to Mother.
Yes, I did. But I didn't want to.
Psycho?
I didn't.
Yeah, Psycho's a good one.
I was thinking of Psycho as well. But like Mommy Dearest, it was recommended to me, and this person said like this would be a really cool idea because it's Mother's Day weekend. And I was like, you're absolutely right. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So
We can reenact some of the scenes later.
I was just trying to look up this movie, but I spelt it the Australian way with a U. You know, it's not mom, it's mum.
Well, so here's
mum. I was like, where's the you in dearest?
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see it here,
No, I
but
can't see
this is
anything.
this is called Mummy Dearest, as in
Mummy,
like the mummy, you know, Mummy
Now
Dearest.
that's the parody
So,
movie that we've all been waiting for.
Well, so
a 2021 movie that I'm sure is a classic.
Well, so the interesting thing about this is that I was gonna put it on Letterboxd, but I spelt it wrong.
Oh, you
and
also spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I spelt it correctly, but it's spelled MOMMI, and so
that's weird.
And so I was like trying to find it. I was like, there's no way Letterboxd doesn't have this movie. So I googled it, but I was short on time, so I was like, god damn it, I gotta go.
He was watching the movie on the way over here.
That's right. Yeah.
It's actually IE apparently. Just looked it up now.
What?
Oh shit.
I don't even know anymore.
Chad Wilfong suggests that Mummy Dearest could be the next hip hop witch for the girl. Dear God.
Oh God. I still need to check that one out.
lot of
No, you don't.
No, don't do it. A lot of Mommy Dearest talk in the chat. Also, Joe Bridges says it's prime over the top soap opera cinema, which is what I remember about it.
Yes, it is.
She is playing to the back row.
Right.
And then Eric Holmes is in the chat. He says, Mommy Dearest freaked him out as a kid because she was like an evil version of his mom.
What?
Oh, yeah. Like, you know, it's like a character sometimes reminds you of one of your parents.
Oh, okay.
And then if they turn out to be the villain, you're like, oh, shit.
Actually, speaking of that, actually, then this is another good Mother's Day movie, Hereditary.
Yeah.
Toni Collette looks a lot like my mum.
Oh, really?
So that movie was so scary to me.
Yeah, that movie.
When she says, "I am your mother," I'm like, "Fuck, she is." Oh God.
That's so funny. Yeah, and then we also have Chad Wilfong in the chat. I don't know if I mentioned him, but welcome, Chad.
Yeah.
Happy you're here, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
He says you can live the rest of your life without seeing the hip hop witch, and you will be fine.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
But then you don't get to play with all the fun games, the inside jokes. They're already passed. We moved on.
Yeah, I know. That ship has sailed already.
She's coming. She's coming.
The witch, she's coming. Oh no, that's just my mom.
Yeah, and then
the hip hop witch, another mother movie. Anything else?
Yeah, those are the two movies that I watched last week.
Okay.
And yeah, Dearest Mommy, you do have to rent. Mommy Dearest, Mommy Dearest, you do have to rent, and it was definitely worth the rent. It's on sale right now to rent too, because I think it's Mother's Day.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pretty sure it's like $1 off.
Okay, cool. So we'll wrap this thing up. For the people in the YouTube live chat that are still with us, if you want to continue hanging out, we're going to take about a 15-minute break or so before we get to the featured review, which is Mr. and Mrs. Smith from 2005. Tyler's pick, first movie in like 3 fucking months that you've had
finally
on the wheel. It keeps passing you by.
I know.
And Joel says, we already voted Madam Web is the next to Hip Hop Witch.
God damn it.
Which I don't think that's a bad idea.
I don't either. All right.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Jack's a fan. He's a fan. He's the vice president of the Australia Melbourne. No, you're outside of Victoria, right?
I'm in Victoria.
You're in Victoria? Okay. So, yeah, he's the vice president of the Victoria chapter of the Madam Web fan club.
That is correct.
Yes. All right. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. And if you want to join us on the Patreon, hit us up at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass to join. $5 gets you on the wheel. We haven't had a Patreon pick in a while.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about doing like a revamp to like how we pick the movies.
Maybe we give them a multiple choice.
Well, I was thinking
my movie's been in there for fucking ever, dude.
Which one is it? Stanford Prison Experiment?
Stanford Prison Experiment.
I think you're like next on the Patreon list. after these two.
Oh, it's no worry. I'm just letting you know. It's been like 6 months or something.
Yeah, that's why I think we should revamp it a little bit, because we have if there's essentially 3 hosts, and the Patreon would be like the 4th host.
Yeah.
We have 8 slots. Why don't we just make it? I was thinking like 1 week is my movie, next week is Joseph's movie, next week is yours, and then Patreon. So it's like they're guaranteed to get every 4th episode a Patreon pick or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So, anyways, thank you. Oh, 1 second. Let me get to here. Thank you for joining us today as we gab and chatter with special guest Jack Fitzpatrick. His YouTube channel will be links in the show notes. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and follow us on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class and on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class. And leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010.
And since Joseph's not here, I'll just say go visit us on the YouTube channel. It would mean a lot if you watched. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
It's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call!
Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You're mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host today, Tyler.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Jack, otherwise known as Let's Crash This Parade.
Yeah.
Well, on this episode, we're reviewing my pick on the Wheel Destiny, finally, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Oh, yeah.
They are the world's most
God
deadly
damn it, this fucking
assassins.
voice.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, this voice.
Their identities are a secret. Even from each other.
So how's work?
We had a little trouble with the commission. So how's Atlanta?
What, are you looking for a job or something? You are the job.
Oh, got him.
That was so badass.
Did you do something new?
I added peas.
Ah, peas. I love my wife, but there are times.
There's this huge space between us, and it just keeps filling up with everything that we don't say to each other.
What do you think she's going to shoot like that?
Looks like it's government or something.
You've just been identified by a competing agent. How are you going to handle it?
I'm going to borrow this.
Yeah.
Sweetheart.
Love
Very True Lies.
gets lethal.
They even have the
Unusual
same
problem,
song.
Jack. You obviously want me dead. And I'm less and less concerned for your well-being. So what do we do?
From the director of The Bourne Identity.
Come on, sweetheart. Come to daddy.
Come to daddy.
Who's your daddy now?
Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie.
Still alive, baby?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
You know that you're ticking.
I love that scene.
Can you imagine if he didn't tell him that he was ticking?
Yeah, he would have. The movie would have been over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry you couldn't see that video, Jack.
All right. Well, this is.
I could say it.
Oh, you can see it?
Oh, good.
Okay, good.
2005's Mr. and Mrs. Smith, starring, of course, Brangelina.
Oh, I forgot about their big dual name.
Well, yeah. Well, it's an interesting fact about this movie is this is what broke up Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt's relationship because they got freaky on the set.
They got freaky on the set.
Oh,
You're a grown man. You can't say that.
Why not? What?
You say they made love.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Coitus.
they made love on
There
each
was
other.
full
in
penetration.
on the trailer.
No. I don't like that last one.
Coitus.
Coitus?
It's too medical for Jack.
Yeah. He calls it Congress. We had Congress.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's about a married couple who are the most deadliest assassins in the world, like the trailer said. And they discover after... This is what the running bit that I like about in this movie is, like, it's either 5 or 6 years ago when they met or 5 or 6 years ago, like, into, like, the present time. I thought that was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So they are the deadliest assassins in the world, and then eventually they have the same job. And Brad Pitt fucks it up for Angelina Jolie's character, Jane. And her agency finds out that he's also like in a competing spy agency as well. They find out about each other and then they, try to kill each other. And then they actually end up realizing after shooting and beating each other up, they team up to kill the people that have hits on their heads. So yeah, I hadn't watched this movie in a really long time.
So this is a rewatch, and you subjected us to this.
Correct.
You made what you thought would have been me and Joseph watch this movie. Instead,
I corralled Jack in.
You got Jack in.
Yeah. I hadn't watched this movie in a long time. I remember enjoying it, but upon rewatch, it's a really fun movie.
Okay.
It's like a fun movie, and so let's go around the table. Pete, this is not your first watch, right?
No, I saw it. I didn't see it in theaters, but I did see it back then. And on a rewatch, I have to agree. It's very fun. It's like a good popcorn movie. It's a good, good like date movie too. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Good to curl up with a nice body pillow and your waifu pillow and just watch this movie and cry deep tears into it.
Jesus,
it
brought you to tears.
That's how I did it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fun. I mean, it's Doug Liman. I mean,
Right.
Liman.
Yes, I forgot to mention the director. He later in his career, he started doing TV work.
Lyman brings the hits. He's known for hits, baby. He never misses, except for sometimes. But I don't know. I feel like the direction of the movie leads itself to just, we know this movie is ridiculous. We know that the only way to make it fun is to go over the top into the realm of, this could never happen.
Of course it couldn't.
Yeah.
Of course it couldn't.
Because you're like, it was almost like an alternative universe from Wanted, the Angelina Jolie movie where she can curve a bullet.
Curve a bullet. Yeah.
I was thinking of Wanted while I was watching it. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
totally.
Good. I'm glad I'm not off base because it's like the craziness of that movie, bring it down like 5-6 notches.
Yeah.
And cut out this ridiculous kind of frenetic editing that whoever that director was, made into that movie. Because there's a lot of stuff in there that feels like Crank 2 High Voltage, where it's like in McAvoy's face, like, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was a little bit more subdued in that sense.
Yeah.
I actually love Wanted.
It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
I just watched it for the first time last year, and I had a great time with it. I feel that's a movie that knows what it is. This is a movie that knows what it is. Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah,
is
that's
like,
fair.
It's like, you're watching it and you go, okay, timeline of the movie. They meet each other. They're both wearing all white. They just got done doing a job.
Yeah.
They're not dirty for some reason. So it's just like Megan Fox in Transformers rolling around in the desert in those bright white pants, not a fucking speck of dirt on them. And they get into this hot and steamy relationship because they're two of the most beautiful people in the world and they know it.
Yes.
And
they're very attractive.
And they get quickly.
You would think that like assassins would like be really ugly so they could like blend in like with a crowd and not be like supermodel status.
Well,
that's a bit like the first Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger who's supposed to blend in, but like fucking massive Austrian guy and stuff.
Let's give him an Austrian accent too. But there is a line in it that specifically talks about Jolie, how she potentially has a body count from, sleeping with people to get to her marks.
Right.
Vince Vaughn implies that at some point. So maybe that is advantageous for someone like her or him. But anyways, the timeline of the characters, they meet each other, they get married, they move in together. Either they buy a house or that was one of their houses already that they're living in together, right?
Yeah. I didn't catch about the home ownership.
It doesn't tell you, but they're now living in one house together. So it's either they bought a house or it was one of their houses before the marriage, right? They have secret compartments in the oven. They have secret basements under the shed. They both have secret compartments. When did they build these things?
That's a really good point. I did not think about it.
And as I was watching it, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I can get on board with this premise. And then I said, you know what, Pete? Easy. Back off. It's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Have fun, why don't you? And that's
far too impractical.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I turned my brain off a little bit, and I'm like, okay, these guys are two very attractive people are gonna say these stupid one-liners and shoot at each other, and it's not nearly as good as something like I don't know, like True Lies, because I think there's a comp there. There's
like Nobody Man.
Just Nobody.
Oh, it's Nobody. No, I thought it was Nobody Man.
Nobody Man. No, that's the Nobody superhero spinoff is when he gets radioactive powers. Oh. Yeah.
But he got bit by a nobody.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, at the end of the day, what did the movie try to do? It tried to entertain me, have a good time, have a lot of cool action set pieces and some clever dialogue and stuff. And there were a number of very eye-rolling moments, like when she goes, "Who's your daddy?" Okay.
Yes, that was
Okay, Jolie, we get it.
was just
You're
like-
hot. You don't
Yeah.
have to talk like that all the time. But yeah, it's good. It's very fun, and I think that the world needs movies like this.
right.
This could have been a shit show, and it was entertaining. So yeah, I thought it was a really solid time. So thanks for forcing me to rewatch it, and Brianna too. She says very fun, very fun.
Awesome. Jack, what did you think about this movie? Was this a first watch for you?
Look, so I'd seen it before, but it was when I was like pretty young, I think. So I didn't remember anything about it really. So let's essentially say it's a first time watch, you know.
Sure. I mean, see, there's another Tyler here because every time I say if I watch the first time movie, if it's a second rewatch, but I haven't seen it,
might as well be the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it came out when I was 9. So.
He has an excuse. Jack's a youngster. He's 10 years younger than me.
How old are you, Jack?
28.
What?
Pete's 38.
That's right.
And I'm 32?
Yeah, you are.
Wow, we got a youngster on the show. I think you're the youngest person that's been on our show.
Yeah, sorry. I got that. I got that young Riz.
Yeah. We had Andrew Perky call into the show, Bruce's son.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He took us. He took us to task.
Yes, he did.
He's got me by quite a few years, I think, right?
Yeah, I think I have a drop from him. Let's see, where is this? Yeah, he did not want to hear any of our bullshit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that sounds a bit like me, actually.
I know. Billy Madison, who?
So okay, so essentially this is your first watch. How did you think of it?
Yeah, so I was a bit worried that I wouldn't have much to say because, much like Pete, it's just kind of like cute, you know. It's just a fun, cute movie.
All right.
There's not a lot of meat to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like pretty casually fun, and I guess that's about it.
Yeah. Great.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the higher pitch your voice goes, the more believable that is, right?
All right.
I wouldn't say I loved it. I wouldn't say it blew me away or anything. But
okay.
Yeah. Passes time, whatnot.
Well,
can you give us the set and setting? Tyler likes to know like what day time, what meal,
and the runtime.
Yeah, runtime also.
Yes.
What meal did you eat before, perhaps in the middle of, and after?
I had cheesecake. I had caramel cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yeah.
And then watching Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. God damn it.
Correct. It's called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That's right.
And you did it on a short notice too, because we nailed down you coming onto the show like what, 2 days ago, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago.
And
I watched it like 5 hours after you told me that was going on.
I gotta go.
Get home.
Was it nighttime?
I rushed home. I was already home, but I rushed home. I was like, shit, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Proper response.
It was about 9:00 p.m. I would say.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna read
riveting info, right?
Oh, it matters. It
yes,
matters.
It matters. It definitely matters.
It was a Thursday. You watched this? Was it Thursday?
No, it was Friday.
Okay, well, I have no excuse then, because this is a Friday night movie.
Yeah,
you watched
true.
it at the right time, you had the cheesecake. It even says in the notes, watch it pairs best with caramel cheesecake, and he still didn't have a good time.
That's okay.
I didn't say I didn't have a good time.
He said he hated it.
Fuck this movie.
Oh no.
That's what I think.
Well, it sounds like you're warm to it. Great. So I'm going to read my letterboxed review of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. There we go.
Hello. Come along, won't you? As Tyler reads his own letterboxed reviews. This is me, myself, and Tyler.
God damn it.
Beautiful.
So I rated this movie 4 stars. So this is what I have to say about Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Letterboxd. This movie is such a fun time. The actors are so charismatic, and the action is dumb fun. I thought the writing was good for the most part, although there was some cringe one-liners. This movie is a great turn-your-mind-off kind of movie. Pitt and Jolie are, I believe, at their peak sexiness. This is a movie I could watch really any time. It's a good afternoon movie. Also, Vince Vaughn kills it with the character he provided. Grade B+, end of report.
Four stars, B+.
Yeah.
What's 4.5 stars?
What do you mean?
A minus A?
I don't know.
And then a 5 stars, A+?
I don't know. It's a complicated system in my head.
I just think whenever it's impossible for me to not think about that when you give the letter grade and the star grade at the same time. Because I go, okay, well, three stars was a B minus.
Yeah.
Do
the math, you know.
You can't figure out the my mind is an enigma.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's a labyrinth.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so I actually do remember watching this movie when it first came out. I think I didn't watch it in theaters. I had it on DVD. And I just remember one being insanely attracted to Angelina Jolie. Like that.
I remember being insanely attractive too.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe so. You know, I was thinking like after during the viewing of this movie, like there was like a glow to them on screen. Like you knew they were having relations. Like because that acting
relations.
That acting was just like it's good. It's good. Like they act like a really good couple on screen.
They are on each other.
Yeah. And so I really like the gunplay as well. Although it's super fantastical, obviously. I just don't like they would be dead in seconds. Like during that house raid, they would be dead in seconds.
But she had a knife. She threw a knife at the guy.
Yeah, that's true, and that was badass. And I actually had a funny thought too when they first discover that they're both assassins. When he's like running through like the yards and stuff, and like he falls through the fence and like shot like the gun on accident, and it hits the window. I was thinking, man, what if it like clipped her or something? That would have been kind of a fun where it like clipped her. Like it doesn't kill her, but it like grazes her head.
I really like the fact that the first shot was an accident because it leads to more complexity between the give and take between the two characters.
Right.
It's not just like, I got to kill him because he's my enemy. Now there's like, well, I really wasn't going to kill him before because I do care about this guy, but then he shot at me, so now I have to kill him.
Yeah. I think my favorite scene in the movie was when they finally stand off in the living room and he has the shotgun to her and she has the pistol and he just lowers the gun. He's like, I can't do it. And like that really, like I felt that because I put myself in that scenario if I found out my significant other was like a competing assassin that like had to kill me and I had to kill her.
I don't think you're supposed to think that deeply about it.
Except in that scenario, that partner would just kill me right then and there. They would just be like, "Oh, you can't kill me? Okay."
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. It's
like, what if Brianna was an assassin? Come on, you wouldn't have the stones to put a bullet in her head.
No, I wouldn't. You know, I think that's why I like the setup. I think the setup.
Wow, you wouldn't kill your partner? Wow.
I know. Give me an award, won't you? But the setup is good in the sense that they're shooting at each other, but the way I thought about it was they're so good at their job, both of them. Clearly, they're
world-class assassins.
If they wanted to kill each other, they would have killed each other.
Right.
So it's almost like this posturing. It's like this a peacock effect where you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill you because you're my enemy now. But
that's a good point.
There never was intent there. And I think the nuance of the two characters, the nuance of the two actors, kind of pushing the, okay, now I really want to kill him. It feels similar to how, like, I think some marriages are, in the sense that you love somebody, but you're like, God, they get under my fucking nerves sometimes.
Yeah.
God, that fucking guy. I could strangle him right now. And you're like, would you really strangle your husband?
Well, I mean, like it was like in the therapy scene where he's just like, sometimes I just want to.
Yeah. So, I think that I really want to see the Donald Glover remake or the series reboot. I guess
I've heard it was really good.
I have too. I've heard good things, and I like Donald Glover a lot. But I think in the series they already know each other are assassins, so the element of surprise is gone from what from what I read.
I think the reveal was really well done. It wasn't like drawn out, like the tension that Angela, that Jane and John.
They get into it real fast in the movie, as far as they discover that the other one is.
And I like that too, because I mean the movie's already 2 hours long. So when I was looking at the runtime initially, I was thinking, okay, let's not draw out the reveal. Let's just like get it over with, because it would happen because they're spies. Yeah. What was that, Jack?
Because it's like you don't want to keep what we already know is the premise a secret. Like we know going in, there's no need to.
Exactly.
Piss around with it.
Yeah.
I do think it took them a little while to get to the point where it showed the audience that they were assassins, because for the first part, they don't even say, they're like, oh, we met in Bosnia.
Yeah.
And there's a helicopter or whatever. And it heavily implies that there was something there, but it doesn't show really a whole lot of anything. And then the rest of the setup of them being bored with each other after 5 or 6 years of marriage, it just shows them going off to their job, going off to this job. It doesn't really show a lot of the actual assassin work.
Yeah.
Until you get to Brad Pitt in the poker game.
The poker game.
I thought that was a pretty good scene.
That was pretty clever.
Second movie that I know of that Brad Pitt has a underground poker scene in a basement. That Ocean's 11 is the other one.
Oh yeah.
And then, and at the same moment, Jolie is doing the job where she has to wear the leather dominatrix outfit.
Yeah.
Which was appreciated. I appreciated that scene.
Yeah, I really
as a man.
Well, it really pays off too, because they go to their suburban family or their suburban neighbors' dinner party or whatever, and she had to put the dress on over, and she was wearing the fishnets and the boots still.
The one person that gives her the raises their eyes.
that was a good part or good scene.
I think it's worth mentioning that the movies is a lot funnier than I remember.
Yeah,
it's a lot more. I got a lot more laughs.
Yeah. It's more of a comedy than an action movie, I'd say.
I think that's a pretty safe thing to say. I'm on board with that.
Yeah. I think a lot of married couples would probably like this movie when it came out in 2005. They're just like, yeah, we have these same arguments all the time.
Yeah, exactly. The part that got me the biggest laugh was when they both race home. They find out that they know about each other.
Yeah.
And they both race home, and Brad Pitt knows that Jane is in the house, and he goes to grab his neighbor and give him a tour of the house. And he goes,
that was smart.
It was so
yeah.
And he's like, it's John Smith, right? His name is John?
Yeah, his name's John.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, John, I'm so glad we lived together next to each other, toward each other for like 3 years. I've never seen the inside of your house. And he like leads him in like a human shield.
No, yeah, he's like pulling him by the arm.
He's like guiding him around. And like that guy played the part
Wouldn't
perfectly.
that be concerning if like your neighbor did that? I'd be like, okay, we're getting a little too familiar here.
That was a great scene. I got a really hearty laugh about that.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was really clever though as well, because it shows you like his intelligence of like knowing like how to protect yourself from someone who's trying to kill you. So I really liked. It's just like those little subtle things that they did for each of the main characters on how, because I think they said like they were like the top world greatest assassins. I don't know if they say it, but it's heavily implied.
Possibly.
So like just like
super spy assassins. It doesn't really matter.
But I think one of the other funniest scenes I found was when the neighbors knock on the door after they've reconciled and had their gunfight and made their love on each other. He like opens up the door and like there's like cops there and everything, and the neighbor's like, "Oh, are you doing some redecorating?"
Oh yeah, then they just pretend like they were knocking boots.
And it's just like it's just nonsense, because the cop would look in there and be like, what the hell is going on in here? You know what? I'm getting a warrant right now. I'm
getting a warrant. Real
if we're doing funniest scenes, the funniest scene for me was when he gets into the car while she's driving. She jumps out of the car, and then the car goes flying, and he just says, "We need to talk."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Worst
Visual
place
was
to be
good.
in a car when it goes off a cliff, by the way, in the back window.
Dude, I know.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he came out of that unscathed.
Hey, he was a little bit dirty.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, okay. Fair point.
It has the vibe of like a cartoon, like a spy versus spy Mad TV cartoon, where it's like, I'm gonna drop a bomb on this person, and somehow they're still alive in the next scene. You know.
Yeah. Or with all the explosions that were going off too, like that impact would kill anyone.
Yeah. Real quick detour, and we'll get back to the movie. But Roger Corman just died in real life. Roger Corman, producer Roger Corman. He was.
I gotta look that up.
He's one of the most prolific producers like of all time. He's got 491 production credits.
My God.
On IMDb. I'm gonna go back and list some of his early ones. Let's see here. Goes all the way back.
That's like you're going through 400 films.
Jeez.
From 1954 was his first one. Interesting. Oh, interesting. His fifth credit was The Beast with a Million Eyes, which I've never heard of that before, but there is the Futurama movie was called The Beast with a Million Backs. Which is a takeoff of the phrase of like having sex is like making the beast with two backs.
Yeah,
it's a beast with a million backs. That's weird. I had never had any idea. It was a homage to an old Roger Corman movie.
Man.
He's got.
He was 98. He was 98 years old.
He was known for Silence of the Lambs. Wow.
Yeah, he played FBI director Hayden Burke. Wrote Little Shop of Horrors. Literally, I mean, you could probably pick a movie. He probably was a producer on it.
Wow. How old was he?
Oh, Jack, what'd you say? How old was he?
98.
Oh, yeah,
wow.
Yeah, his time has come.
He was able to actually use that money.
Yeah, his time has come.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. Joe Bridges in the chat says he's mostly well known to have hands-on film school for directors like Ron Howard, Joe Dante, James Cameron, and Martin Scorsese.
Well,
so he basically was like, I guess, gave them their start.
Yeah, and he was the go-to guy if you wanted to be a legendary filmmaker.
I've heard this name a billion times. I couldn't tell you exactly what his role in Hollywood was, but he's one of those guys that kind of shaped Hollywood, I believe, at least the modern era.
Well, let me ask. Well, going back to Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. He's 6 feet under.
Come on, Jesus Christ.
He's 6 feet under. All right, fine. He's done.
Director
fuck him. Who cares?
Tyler
Don't worry about
Noe, Knowy. I'll leave his mailing address in the show notes.
I wanted to ask you guys what your guys.
Tyler just dancing on his grave.
Yeah. No.
How can I make this into a bit?
No, I'm making water on his grave. Rest in peace, you son of a bitch. Anyways, what were your favorite action sequence, or what was your favorite action sequence in this movie, Jack and Pete?
So that's a funny question, because I actually thought,
what's comedic about it?
I'm getting to it because of my thought.
Okay.
Because of my thought.
Let him talk. Damn it.
So it's funny because I was thinking that if this movie was made today, that the action scenes probably would have been a lot more bombastic.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were saying it was very over the top. I actually thought, in regards to the action itself, it was over the top in terms of they would die realistically, and there are like things like that going on. but the set pieces were fairly. I don't know if I'd call them small, but it wasn't like end of the world shit, and it wasn't like
restrained.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, because they are getting shot at and stuff and whatnot, but it felt a bit more. It didn't feel grounded, but it felt more small scale, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
But I guess if I had to pick a favorite action scene, that's the question.
Yes.
I guess probably just the final shootout, like in the store. Like that was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Best action sequence. I liked him jumping or entering the scene out in the desert when they see each other for the first time and they don't realize they see each other out.
Yeah.
And he's got that dune buggy with the tongue painted on the side.
Listening to dad rock.
Yeah, he's listening to freaking hair. What do they call that? Yacht rock or hair metal? Or
Hair
like
metal.
that.
Yeah.
It's not hair metal because I feel like that's more like headbanger shit.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know.
It's just old. It's just classic rock.
Yeah, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
He's out there having a ball. So I like that. I like the poker scene, and those are not particularly action-y scenes.
No. Well, kind of, but.
But I also did like when they get raided at home and they first become like friends again. I guess they partner back up again.
Yeah,
I liked that bit because it's like a steady stream of people coming into the house and you're like, oh, they're doing this for $800,000,
right?
Because they both have bounties on their heads for $400,000 at this point.
Now that's what didn't make sense to me. Like you're willing to risk your life for $800,000 split in between God knows how many ways.
Well, whoever kills them gets the money.
Okay, so it's a free for all.
Yeah, because then after you kill them, you got to kill all the other assassins because they're gonna try to take the body.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would they just check the body cam footage to see who actually delivered the
They're wearing
the final
body
bullet?
cams?
I don't know. We'll see.
It was 2005. I don't know if they had them.
Let's watch the behind the scenes footage real quick. I'm just kidding. Yeah. What about you, Tyler?
My favorite action sequence would have to be the freeway scene. I really like that one, mostly because of the dialogue between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
That was pretty fun. Yeah, it was a pretty fun one.
And it showed like just like such chemistry between the two characters when he's like driving and she's saying, what are you doing? This is evasive driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt I would say something like that if I was in that situation with my partner.
That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah.
What?
So the evasive driving.
This is evasive driving.
It's like Brad Pitt's in the room with me.
But
well, they wrote the dialogue to make it seem like something that you would have a normal married couple say to each other.
Right. And that's what I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah. I think that's the strength of the movie is the kind of clever dialogue, and they're very comfortable with each other, probably because they were inside each other for a lot of this production.
Yes, they definitely were. And so
that's true. The gimmick is that it's all about marriage and stuff. You know, that's like that is totally what sets it apart, and actually made me sort of like it more than just like, they're spies and who cares why they're killing each other. You know what I mean? Like, there's some emotional stuff in there.
It's interesting. It gives you something a little bit more to cling on to than just a shoot 'em up action.
Well, it makes it more humanistic. And so what I
there's a lot of boomer humor too. Like I hate my wife, you know.
That's yeah. You know what? I will defend this movie in regards to that because it's like the boomer joke of my wife is terrible, isn't she the worst? Is so prevalent. It makes no sense to me with no context to the scenario.
Right.
But when you see the characters 5-6 years later, it's not like they hate each other. They're just checked out. They're like, they probably have been like running through the hottest, people on the planet for their entire adult lives because they're these ultra rich, ultra like thrill seeking, live on the edge personalities.
Very athletic.
That are probably banging bareback to these people all over the country because they have no regard for their safety. And now they're like wifed up in a house in the suburbs and they got these neighbors that want to look at their redwood floors and shit. And they're just like, this sucks. I got to be in therapy with this bitch, you know? So
Jeez.
it's like that's the mentality.
Right.
And it's almost just like they're not angry at each other, they're just checked out.
Right.
But all of the bickering of the back and forth, it's like if you said that if you've been in a long-term relationship for quite some time, or you ever have been, if you said that your relationship wasn't like that from time to time, you're lying.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, because
try getting to an event with your significant other in the passenger seat and you're driving, and both of you think you have the right route to the event.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I mean,
it does not end well.
It's not. It's not that. It's. I don't know. I didn't get. I get what you're saying, but I loved because I could see myself in the scenario where like we're getting shot at, and my partner is saying, "What the hell are you doing? Why stay still? I can't shoot." Yeah. I'd be like, "It's called evasive driving."
Again, Brad Pitt.
And she says, "Let me drive."
Your Jolie impression's not as good though.
No, well, I don't have a feminine voice, so that.
Tyler, get that mic right up to you.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there. It's right on the
kisser.
On the lips. Yeah, right on the kisser.
But, I'm not saying it wasn't funny, but there were just some parts that like made me roll my eyes. Like there's this part I wrote down. She says, "We have this huge space between us, and it just keeps filling up with everything that we don't say to each other. What's that called?" And the therapist is like, "Marriage." And I'm like, they thought they were being so clever with that line, you know?
I don't know any.
You ready for it? Marriage.
I don't know any therapist who would say something like that to a person in couple counseling. That's ridiculous.
Speaking of the freeway scene, I have to say, of all the unrealistic things about the movie, her shooting at the two cars and what happens to those cars immediately after is the least plausible thing in the entire script. She shoots, I think it's 4 bullets split between 2 cars. So you presume that both cars took 2 bullets. The wheel comes off. Immediately. The wheel shoots up into the air. The other one flips over.
Haven't you played San Andreas where you shoot that little square and the whole thing blows up?
No, I have not. It reminded me of the ridiculousness of when a car launches off of a cliff. It's one of my favorite gags of all time because it's so brazenly inaccurate that it makes me laugh so much. The car flies off the cliff. Before it hits the ground, it explodes. I love that. It's so stupid. You're like, what happened in midair to make the car blow up?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like at the end of the sequence where the cars like blow up in like a just in a fantastic way. Mm-hmm. I was thinking to myself, I don't think a pistol can do that to a car.
No, just the sheer inertia of the bullet. Like if you're to believe that the wheel came off because it got hit with a bullet, that means that the bullet went through both of the mounting bolts of the upper control arm. Yeah. And it just, the whole weight of the pressure of the car laid down on the suspension and it whipped out from underneath. And you're like, that was a good shot. I mean, I know she's a good shot because we saw at the carnival that she did the thing with the air gun.
That was a cute little scene. I like that where she pretends to be dumb.
She gave herself away though.
Yeah.
And then eventually she's like, I want to try again. Ping, 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 ping. Where'd you learn how to shoot? Like that.
Yeah. There you go. Love it. What was I going to say?
Beginner's luck.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's what she says.
Oh, yeah.
There's a small moment in there where I thought it was cute, and it's probably a Brad Pitt just improv thing where he's got the little baby stuffed animal he won, and she's got the gigantic one. Mm-hmm. And as they're walking by and she says that line, he just throws it in some random person's like arms as they're walking the opposite direction. He just like dumps it off in kid's arms.
That was so suave.
Yeah,
that was so.
Oh, okay.
That's why
I didn't catch that.
Big bucks.
Yeah, that was so suave. He just does it. Like, I mean, of course he's getting in her pants.
Small complaint. I think Brad Pitt is pretty bad in this.
Really?
Acting wise, yeah, did not. I feel like he's phoning it in.
I do think that it's like kind of an easy role, if that makes sense. But I liked him. I was thinking during it, I'm like, I never really got Brad Pitt until Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, I didn't really care one way or the other about him. And then I saw that, and I'm like, this guy's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But going back, I was kind of wrong, and he's kind of always been cool. And I felt that there.
Yeah.
I mean,
he has the zhuzh. He's got the je ne sais quoi about him. He's got like that cool factor, but I never felt like he was really acting. I felt like he was just kind of on set when they were filming.
Yeah, he wasn't acting. He wasn't acting. He was
That's
just, he was
fair.
just working.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
He just wanted them to call a 30-minute break so he can go get back in the Kuntazi. You know, he's like, I got Jolie waiting for me in my trailer. Can we wrap this fucking scene?
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, like, I think I agree with you on that. I feel like he's just working, but he did it in a way where it was entertaining. Like it because you can there was a movie I was thinking of where like people were American Sniper. It felt like people were just phoning it in. But in this movie it felt like they were
that baby was really phoning it in.
Oh yeah. No, that baby was awful.
It was one of the worst examples of a stuffed baby.
A
baby doll.
That baby, her career in Hollywood is ruined.
Which is the more ridiculous baby, the American Sniper baby or Renesmee from Twilight New Moon Saga Part 9 or whatever?
I have never seen that movie before.
They CGI the baby.
It's Part 5.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course you would know, Jack.
Is it
Twilight Expert.
Is it
New Moon? No, not New Moon. New Moon is 2. Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn Part 2. What's the last two movies are?
Like
Breaking Dawn. Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Breaking Dawn
Part 2. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 4 and 5.
New Moon is number 2.
Thank you.
3 is Eclipse and 4 is
Breaking
Dawn.
But yeah, in that movie,
Twilight Expert.
Thank you, appreciate it. Bella and Edward have a baby, and she has a vampire baby, and they CGI the face on the baby. It's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in my life. It's so fucking terrifying.
Is it like the zombie baby in the remake of Dawn of the Dead?
Somehow worse. It's somehow worse. Because
it's like that. What's it called? The valley, the creepy valley, something.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, that's it. It's like the best example of that.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's like they took a Cabbage Patch doll and they put a CGI human face on it.
Yeah.
But it's got this dumb smirk on its face, and it looks like neither of them. I would love it if they just CGI'd like Kristen Stewart's face right onto the baby. They gave it Robert Pattinson's like dead eyes. Anyways, we're talking about we're talking about American Sniper here.
How about you and Jack go and make a Twilight podcast?
Hey, it's not outside the realm of possibilities. In the internet age, we can.
But so I think this movie overall for me is it's fun, rewatchable. I don't. You know, it's interesting because I kind of miss cable television now. Because with cable television, you could just turn on the TV and something will be on. But
this is so the kind of movie that would just have been on TV and you just like half watch it.
Exactly. So like you could like pop in like halfway through the movie and like still be entertained. Commercials be damned. It's fine. Like I miss those cable TV days because for myself, I can't see myself putting this on my own accord. However, if it was just on somehow, some way, and I just happened to pass by it, I would definitely watch it.
That makes sense.
He's looking up some boots right now.
Yeah, Joe Bridges, he mentioned last week when we said that this was going to be the movie, and he said that Jolie made red wellies a very popular thing, boots.
She made them popular?
From this movie, and really? I thought it was like Louboutins or something like that. Red wellies, like a nickname for some like fancy, shoe or something.
Yeah.
But they're the red like rain boots that she's wearing in one of these scenes where the house is like blown up, and they're just like they look like waiters.
Yeah.
Like tall boots with like a strap waiters on the side. I didn't know that was a thing, Joe. I mean, they're cool. They're cool looking.
I don't know. I'm impartial to them.
People People are weird
Oh
about.
god, that looks weird.
People are
Tyler
weird about
hates the boots.
No, I don't like them now. After seeing that picture, no.
The only thing that Tyler wants red on his boots are his laces. That's it.
God. You're endangering my life.
That's it. Just the
You're
laces.
endangering my life.
He said the rest can be black for all I care, and that's the only thing.
God.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, Joe.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But I do see a bunch of pictures. I'm Googling it right now. And there's a lot of people that are like, I want these boots. These boots for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I need these boots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was 13 in 2005, and I wasn't really paying attention to fashion trends. So
I also wasn't really paying attention to fashion trends when I watched this.
You're like, my parents dressed me back then.
So here's some. I'm gonna read off some fun trivia about Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
So Brad Pitt reportedly left the project after Nicole Kidman dropped out, and her replacement had not yet been found. Once Angelina Jolie signed on, he returned to the project.
I mean, smart move, I guess.
It's so funny that he did that. When Jane is going for her when Jane is going to her first shown kill, she correctly answers a question from the quiz show Jeopardy that was unscripted and spur of the moment on the part of Angelina Jolie.
I don't remember that.
It was when she was dressed up in the leather dress, and I did notice this because I'm a huge fan of Jeopardy, and they did Alex Trebek, rest in peace, did a question on like something about embezzlement or something like that.
Okay.
And the answer was Martha Stewart, and then she just
I do remember that.
She just says under her breath Martha Stewart.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, God damn it, that's awesome. That was really cool. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were paid $20 million for their roles.
Damn.
That is hot money.
Yeah, it is.
God.
That is absurd. That is wrong, almost.
It kind of does feel wrong, Jack. I agree with you. $20 million for this movie? Kidding me?
Well,
imagine
were
that.
the
You know,
hottest fucking names at the time. The hottest names at the time.
Yeah, they were. You're right, but still.
yeah,
it
but
was
just
weird.
give me one of the millions.
I know.
Just give me one of them.
I just want one.
The budget was 110 mil, which is a lot back then.
So like a quarter of the budget was to Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
Brad Pitt.
40 million out of less than 12.
Almo-
So yeah,
almost half, really.
That's crazy. The box office for this total take home $487 million.
Yeah, it was. I remember it being.
Damn, this was a phenomenon.
I remember it being a popular movie.
Oh, interesting though. Only 186 million domestic. The rest, the other 300 million was overseas.
Oh,
people love their.
The other thing.
Yeah.
The other thing to think about though is this is 2005. They probably made just as much money again on DVDs.
Yeah, that's a good point. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's just box office. That's not.
Yeah,
DVDs.
that's not even DVDs because I mean I bought a DVD like at like some like those random truck stop gas stations where they sell DVDs. I think I bought that there.
Do they have those there, Jack?
Not anymore. You could maybe get a DVD at like the petrol station back in the day, but fuck no, not nowadays.
now it's just at Walmart. Do they have Walmart over there?
Nah, not Walmart. We got JB Hi-Fi. There's this place called Sanity, but I don't know. I don't even know where Sanity is nowadays, if that even still exists. There's not many places nowadays, which is
DVDs
depressing. Yeah, DVDs and Blu-rays.
Probably thrift stores, I would imagine.
I go to that's where I get everything. Yeah. But that's a lot of like you really gotta hunt for shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Walmart is kind of a default for physical media in a sense that they have a bargain bin.
Yeah, they just have a bin.
It's like $5 or less, and it's a literal pile, like a 3.5 foot tall bin.
Yeah, we've got similar like department stores like Big W, Kmart, but they're sort of slowly phasing them out.
You have Kmart?
Oh yeah, we got Kmart. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I know.
Wait, do you guys don't have Kmart?
We used to.
Not anymore.
We're the
yeah.
So just like England founded democracy and brought it to you guys and us, we founded Kmart and then donated it to you guys.
Yeah, we've got Target as well.
Oh,
is that interesting?
We got Target. Target's like high-end Walmart.
Yeah. People are like, no, let's just go to Target.
Yeah, I don't want to set foot in a Walmart. I do Target though.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Just the
Walmart blows my mind, dude. You can get guns at Walmart. Oh,
Yeah, you
food,
can. Food,
DVDs,
guns,
cameras,
booze,
refrigerators, TVs.
DVDs.
You get more guns, fishing rods.
Fishing rods.
You can get your tires
Yeah, you
serviced
can
on your car.
Get your
Same
tires.
time.
Yeah, just anything.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pokemon cards.
yeah. I think, but
I got a
everything's locked.
I got a
up now.
Spider-Man T-shirt from there when I went.
Oh hell yeah! There you go.
Nice.
That's what I was there for. The writer on this is single credited writer Simon Kinberg.
Yeah,
And
I meant to look him up.
listen to this, okay? The decision making process in Hollywood always blows my mind because the only credit that he has as a feature length movie before this was XXX State of the Union.
That was the sequel, right?
Yeah, I want to
The
say
sequel.
it might have even been the third of the series. Yeah,
With
this is
Ice
the one that
Cube.
has Ice Cube in it. It doesn't even have fucking
Yeah.
Riddick in it.
Riddick.
Yeah. So
That's Dom Toretto.
yeah, sorry, it doesn't have Dom Toretto in it. Yeah. But they went from that movie, the third of a shitty franchise where the lead actor has been swapped out for a rapper. And then they give him $110 million budget movie to write with the two biggest stars in fucking Hollywood at the
Dude.
time.
Yeah, that's
Like, what's his name? John Watts, who directed the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. What did he do? He did Cop Car and Clown, and then he's given Spider-Man. What?
Cop Car and Clown are way better than XXX State of the Union.
Yeah,
Way better.
I mean,
That's
But
true. That's a good point.
But I see what you're
yeah, it's interesting how that works. But it ended up being, a success. It made money, and it certainly boosted Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's career. Everyone loved them in that, and I think Angelina Jolie was ovulating during that time too. She just had a certain glow to her face.
I'm not comfortable with this conversation. I'm
say that.
I'm gonna head out. I think.
She had a certain glow to her face that I don't know. You can just tell like when women radiate.
Just stop.
Bruh. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm making a good show. That's what I'm doing.
He's getting
You're making good observations.
He's trying to get that hate mail that he always wants. A couple things. Number one, Adam Brody has a small part. We didn't even talk about him. He's basically
He's the bait.
He's doing a job at the beginning, and then it turns out he's bait near the end.
Yeah.
Seth from the OC. Yes.
Yes, the kid detective himself. He's wearing a Fight Club shirt.
I noticed that
in the interrogation scene.
Oh yeah.
He's being
Yeah.
interrogated by Tyler Durden.
Yeah. I noticed that.
That's a fun little fact.
I wish the interrogation scene was a little bit more brutal.
Yeah. Well, brutal. I was gonna say longer. I
Well,
just
yeah,
wanted them
yeah,
to have
well,
more cat and mouse with them.
Because like when I was watching the interrogation scene, I was thinking of the card counter interrogation scene,
That would
and
be a really weird turn.
Well, exactly.
If it went from this fun, like, crowd-pleasing popcorn movie that you could watch with your family, and then all of a sudden he's dismembering him, and you hear the shrieks from the other room. You're like, what
Yeah.
the
Now we're speaking my language.
Yeah. Tyler's like, this is why I'll never make it in Hollywood. The tone shift would be give people whiplash.
Well, that would be good though. That would be
no.
I think
Parasite did it.
That's true.
Parasite did do it. Oh man, that movie is great.
So the other thing is, Brianna and I were talking about who would be the contemporary replacement for these two movie stars. And I'm not saying,
Oh, that's a fun question.
Yeah, and I'm not saying who acts like Brad Pitt and looks like Brad Pitt, but in the 2005, Brad Pitt is the height of male like sex appeal for women, star appeal.
Timothy Chalamet.
No, wrong.
That's an option. And Angelina Jolie is absolutely like a bombshell sex symbol. And on top of it is an accomplished actress. Like she was in Girl Interrupted, she's been in all these kind of things. So,
right.
Jack, do you have a pairing?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
No, not a pairing. I only thought of the man, but
one or the other.
Ryan Reynolds is the obvious one, right?
Ryan Reynolds. You don't think?
But he's like a similar age to Brad Pitt, isn't he?
You don't think he's too? No, he's younger. You don't think he's too like clever, like funny guy, chuckle nuts?
I don't know. It's like there's the obvious ones. It's like Ryan Reynolds and Chris Pratt, even though everyone hates Chris Pratt. But
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. What about Chris Evans? Chris Evans is a
Chris
good
Evans
pick.
actually, that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
I said my contemporaries were Paul Rudd, Pedro Pascal, Michael Fassbender. Probably.
Oh, I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd
That's
would
a
be
good one.
but he's also a clever, sort of funny guy, and which Brad Pitt became later in his career. But at this point, I don't think he had that sort of character actor vibe to him.
Does it have to be like currently now or
Yeah, who today? Like if you were to make Mr. and Smith today, and you wanted to get that same ultra superstar appeal of 2005's Brad Pitt, who would you cast?
Oh, well, I was thinking of Angelina Jolie's character.
That's
I was
fine.
thinking Anya Taylor-Joy.
She's up there.
Then
I don't think she'd do it though.
She might break in half. She's like a stick.
Well, she'd have to bulk up.
Yeah, bulk up.
And then for Brad Pitt's character,
That's a tough one. It's hard.
What was that sound?
I think what first came to mind was Pedro Pascal, but I don't think he
was one of my picks.
I don't think he would pair well with Anya Taylor-Joy. Wow, yeah, that's a tough one. I actually, you know what? I think Chris Evans. Would probably be the obvious choice.
I like it.
Yeah, I for Jolie's character, I said Margot Robbie, Jennifer
Oh,
Lawrence.
Margot Robbie, that's a good one.
Jennifer Lawrence, maybe, but more, to be honest, Anne Hathaway. I think Anne Hathaway would crush it.
Yeah, no,
she's sneaky hot.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's the correct answer is Anne Hathaway.
I posted this on my Twitter feed, and I got people saying Gosling and Anna de Armas.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Gosling and de Armas would be pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, actually.
I think of the Ryans, I think Gosling fits the role a little bit better than Reynolds.
Yeah, a little bit.
I prefer Gosling, so yeah.
Someone else said Chris Pine would work, but he also he made the terrible "This Is War" movie, which also was written by the same actor, or the same guy, Simon Kinberg. Doug Liman may have directed that one too, for all I know.
Good Lord, Pete, did you not record on Audacity?
What?
Did you not record on Audacity?
No, I did not, but that's okay. I have the audio from here. Yeah.
Oh my God, you just terrified me.
Yeah, it's fine. What was I going to say here? The other people here. Glenn Powell was an option.
Okay.
Nicholas
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah. We just make Anyone But You again. Florence Pugh is a possibility.
I can see that. I can see Florence Pugh doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have, but then she was in Black Widow, and it actually does sort of make sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, those are my selections. If anybody else has any options, Heather's in the chat. She says Chalamet's too slight. He's too small.
Yeah.
Unless you also cast Anya Taylor-Joy.
Well, I mean, I guess that could work if you're gonna go into that direction.
She says a couple of sticks thrown together in a particular manner makes fire, after all. Oh, that's great, Heather. That's awesome.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Great stuff. You guys have anything else to say about Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
No, I don't think so.
I have two questions.
Sure.
Two quick little questions.
Okay.
There is a scene where they are having dinner and they both suspect each other.
Yeah.
And the bottle of wine falls and she catches it like a super spy.
Yeah.
But then she drops it.
Uh-huh.
What? To not look suspicious?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Come on. She already did it. He already saw.
Yeah.
I think it was out of spite.
It could be, yeah.
I think it was out of spite because then they have a reason to leave the room to get prepared for the incoming.
That makes sense.
So I think it was like a diversion sort of thing.
That answers my question nicely, actually.
Yeah, that is.
You have.
Yeah.
You've perfectly amended that for me. Thank you, Tyler.
No problem.
No. I think
Also, Keith David's in this movie, right?
Oh,
but we never see him.
Yeah, you see the reflection on the screen.
Do we ever see him?
Just his reflection.
Yeah.
You hear
I recognize his voice straight away.
Yeah, I
because
did
I
too.
know him as Jules in Saints Row.
Yeah.
Okay.
The video game.
Wow. That's a
I'm
deep
like, that's
pull.
Jules.
you do see his reflection, and I mean, I heard his voice, and then it just shows him sitting at a computer screen while he's like talking to her, and you see his reflection, and you're like, come on, you don't even show the greatness that is Craig David.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, why are they trying to keep it a secret when his voice is so recognizable? Like, we know who it
They're
is.
just teasing us. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's get some grades on this movie, baby.
Okay.
Pete, what do you give this movie?
I'm gonna go B+.
Right on.
Yeah, very fun. Great night watching movies, whether you're with friends or not with friends. If you're by yourself, I'm sure it's still fine. Yeah. But, you know, if you're watching it in a group or with a significant other, I think it escalates the enjoyment.
Right.
And like I said, Doug Liman brings the hits, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So,
baby.
Yeah. I don't think that Doug Liman would be anywhere in the pantheon of, like, greatest actors or greatest directors of our generation or anything.
No.
Even considered, I wouldn't even call him a particularly great director. But when you look at his history, it's like he makes a lot of really fun movies. They're doing exactly the job that they're designed to do. And when I hear Liman, I go, okay, that's probably gonna be fun.
It feels creative as well. It doesn't feel like, you know, cookie cutter.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's phoning it in, unlike Brad Pitt. So yeah, B+ for me.
Right on. Jack, what would you grade Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I'd probably give it like a C+, I suppose. C+, baby.
All right, there we go.
Right on. All right. I already said my grade. It's a B+. You know, for my set and setting for this movie is like I watched it in the morning of this Saturday that we're recording right now, and
we were all wondering.
Yeah, right now.
Oh yeah, no, hold on. Let me turn off my phone really quick.
Yeah, he's still watching it.
But I watched it, and it was like a perfect morning movie. I had my bowl of eggs. Sitting.
Bowl of eggs? What the fuck?
Yeah, I had my bowl of eggs.
How do you make the eggs?
Scrambled, of course.
You put it in a bowl?
Yeah.
Why don't you put it on a plate?
Why would I? No, bowls are the preferred vehicle of food.
Spoon or fork?
Fork.
What the fuck?
Why would you use it? Okay, well, you're learning a lot about
I agree with the fork option.
I am not joking.
Joe Bridges says, do you pour milk over your eggs? Eat it like cereal? Actually, you know what? I think if they're scramby eggs, I think a bowl probably is better. But use a spoon.
Why?
Because the edge is round, the bowl edge is round.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got a flat, sharp edge on a fork into a round bowl interior?
It's not like a bowl. It's like a plate bowl.
Oh, you just have one of those like highfalutin billionaire plate bowls like your mom has?
Yeah, that's correct.
Tyler's mom was basically eating off of like bone china and ground elephant tusk.
On ivory.
Yeah, ivory.
Yeah, I'm a
ivory utensils.
I don't know, chat. If you don't know this, I'm
Mighty Joe Young's skull. That's a bowl.
I don't know if you know, chat, but I'm a very affluent person.
Yeah, he grew up in money, but he pretends like he didn't.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing. I paid $70 for this shirt.
That's a deal for a Supreme shirt.
No, this is it's retail.
Oh,
but,
okay, it's not real.
Yeah, no, it is real, but it's retail. Like I bought it from the store.
I know. I'm saying that usually they're higher than that, isn't it?
No, that's the average price.
Heather says some of us manage to use forks with bowls without violently scraping them against the sides. If you can do that, more power to you, Heather. I don't know how that's possible.
Well, yeah. So I give this movie a B+. Just a very fun afternoon movie. Definitely need the sun in wherever.
You watched it in the morning, though.
Yeah, there was sun in my room, Jack. There was sun in my room. And yeah, preferably have a pet with you or a partner or what have you.
Waifu pillow.
Or a waifu pillow, yeah. So anyway, so that is it for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let's get into the Wheel of Destiny.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
Destiny.
All right, Wheel of Destiny. We already have Mr. and Mrs. Smith pre-erased off of the wheel. Tyler, what are you going to replace it with?
The Iron Claw.
Okay.
Why? What?
Now I have to wait for it to land on the fucking wheel to watch it. It just hit streaming. I was going to watch it like tomorrow.
Damn.
Wow, that's a shame.
Dickhead.
You can still watch it.
No, because then I'm going to have to watch it again. I don't want to watch the movie twice.
Why? Why does it
Because
matter?
it's sad as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
Asshole.
Yeah, it is. Well, how did I know? I am supposed to predict when you are.
It just hit streaming like today.
I know. That's why I mentioned it, because
Yeah, it's kind of convenient, if anything.
Asshole.
Right?
No, if it lands on it.
If it lands. Right. True.
We'll make sure it does.
Okay, here's the wheel. We have the wheel right here. Okay, let's start with Tyler. The Iron Claw from Tyler. American History X from Tyler. Oppenheimer from Joseph. Notting Hill from Joseph. A Very Long Engagement from Binge Lord Dan. Fern Gully from MacKenzie. Mute from Pete. And The Brave Little Toaster from Pete. So we're going to give a rolling spin here. Let's get this right into frame here. This is going to be the movie that we watch next week. It's Oppenheimer.
God damn it.
Oppie.
Damn it.
And Joseph's not here to talk about it, so I will just speak for him. He wanted to force Joseph or Tyler to watch this movie because he never would.
Yeah.
And Joseph considers this a fantastic movie.
Yeah, he loves this movie.
Yeah. Well, he loves his boy Nolan.
Yeah. God damn it. Well, I mean, I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I didn't know it was going to happen this soon.
It's a long one, Tyler.
Yeah, that's what she said. But yeah, where is this streaming? Where can we watch this? Let's see here.
HBO Max, I believe.
I think so too. Just want to double check.
Hinge.
It's on Hinge.
In Australia.
It's called Hinge.
Binge.
Oh, Binge.
Binge.
I was gonna say Hinge is a dating website. It's on Peacock right now.
God damn it.
Peacock.
I'm just gonna rent it.
Just buy it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy the movie.
You already bought Iron Claw.
So? Because I wanted to see my boy Jeremy Allen.
Oppenheimer has nothing on the Iron Claw.
Oh, really? You like Iron Claw better?
Oh, fuck yeah. A lot
really?
better.
Since you're not going to be on next week with this. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Totally sorry. I have to, before I forget, Joseph sent me his review of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to read it real quick.
Oh, hello. Come along, won't you? As
Joseph.
His own letterboxd reviews. This is me, myself, and
Joseph.
Awesome.
Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith. At around the halfway point of this movie, I was expecting to give this around 3.5 stars out of 5 because I was having a surprisingly fun time watching it.
Oh, no.
There were some genuinely funny moments in this, mostly coming from the performances and comedic deliveries of the two leads. There were also definitely some cheesy 2005 moments, which were just comedic because of how dated it was. Like Jane's hidden gun safe in the oven. Sexist much? Or those obnoxiously large binoculars. I especially like the part where her assistant tells her that the grenade launchers are in and Jane's response is, "We need 10 more." Great line. Once we get past the midpoint of the movie and the comedic tension is relieved that they're not going to kill each other, I became less interested as the, quote, bad guys are just a bunch of randos from each other's respective organizations. And the movie...
That's fair.
Yeah, it is. And the movie just kind of ends in a gunfight with no real resolution, and that was disappointing. It would have been nice to get like Vince Vaughn somewhere in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Made the stakes higher.
I thought Vince Vaughn was going to be the bad guy. I thought he was going to have to kill Vince Vaughn.
Well, he is the bad guy because he's the one who conspired against the competing...
Yeah, he is, but it's like not there at the end,
Yeah,
like
that's
he should be.
So he continues. Overall, it was fun, funny, and had 2 strong leads, and it was a cheesy good time with a lame third act. B- 3 stars.
Nice.
Thanks, Joseph. I
Thank you,
almost
Joseph.
forgot that. Jeez. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, so special thanks, shout out to Jack Fitzpatrick. Thank you for joining us for the show, buddy. It's been great.
Yeah, check out his YouTube channel. It's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, you're a great guest. Do you want to take a second to shout out your channel?
Sure. Yeah, it's called Let's Crash This Parade, and I talk about movies. Who would have thought?
And TV shows.
What are your summer higher?
Oh yeah, I guess sometimes.
Yeah, what are some of your higher volume videos? Higher view
My bread and butter, as they say, I
your bread and
suppose.
butter,
Sometimes I make death ranking videos, and I made one about all the saw traps a couple of years ago now. And that has like, I don't know, 20,000 views or something. Woo-woo!
Hell yeah, dude. Every saw trap ranked.
All of them.
It was like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty long one.
Yeah, I've watched it twice, I think.
I don't know. There's like 70 traps or something like that.
That's crazy.
And my Dexter video essay. If you're a fan of Dexter,
yes,
check it out, because that keeps growing. That keeps getting more and more views. I'm very happy with it. Yeah. It's about to hit like 27,000 views or something.
Wow.
But yeah.
No,
these are not my regular amount of views, I will point out. I'm very ecstatic about these ones. Most get like maybe 100 views.
Yeah, that Dexter video, I was enthralled because you did it after New Blood came out, right?
It was just before New Blood.
Oh, just
it was
before.
Like in the lead
okay,
up to New Blood.
Right. I remember it was like right in that time frame.
And you are a big fan of Dexter in general, so you're passionate about it. The energy came through in the video, and for my money, you should do more of those video essays because your writing is good.
Yeah,
the cadence is good, and if it's something you're passionate about, it comes through in the video. So
I really should. I should talk about Saw and Dexter specifically more often as well.
Right.
But I often just like review new stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, more topical. So it's hard to choose like which one you want to do sometimes. But yeah.
It's weird because you're told, quote unquote, that you need to stay topical, but then if you make something that just people gravitate to because it's high quality and you care about it, it just continues to grow views over time instead of the 2 weeks after you've released it and then you never see anything growing again.
Exactly. The aim is to be evergreen, but sometimes it can be hard to predict what's gonna be that, I guess.
Yeah.
YouTube is a fickle. But yeah, also if there's not a lot of competition, like there's not a lot of Dexter videos out there, so when the fans see any Dexter videos, they typically will gravitate towards it. So
you think we should start doing commentaries of, like movies about the MCU? Are there any videos about that online?
I know, I don't want to talk about that stuff just because of how oversaturated it is and all that stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, listeners, if you've never checked out Let's Crash This Parade, that's Jack's YouTube channel, go check it out. They'll be in the show notes, but it's all one word. Let's Crash This Parade. It's youtube.com/Let's Crash This Parade.
In your words, what do you expect from my channel? How would you describe it? I'm just curious.
So it's basically movie reviews, but it's also you have I guess I just call them video essays. I think of those more like opinion pieces more than anything.
Yeah.
But what you get out of Jack really is that you have a very infectious energy and like a positivity and a self-deprecating sort of humor that comes off really well. So you'll be saying something much like a stand-up comedian. You'll be talking to the audience and then you break away and you're like talking to yourself about the thing you just said. And it's just like, it's very natural because I know I do that to myself and I had no friends that do that, as well. And so you don't feel like a phony. And you and I, we've become friends over the years, and you know how much I fucking hate phonies.
That is so true. You definitely do. Actually, that is a very nice thing to say. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. So seriously, go subscribe to his channel, and again, really appreciate you for guest hosting at the last minute.
Yeah, man, it was fun.
Okay, so thank you to our cool-ass yard duties over on Patreon. One of them is in the chat right now. That's Heather Sachs, Javier, Ryan, Corbin, and Chris. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, just hit us up, patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. But you can support us for absolutely free by watching us on the YouTube Live, the YouTube posted videos, recommending our show, or giving us a 5-star rating to friends. All those things help, and you don't have to pay a cent for that.
Right.
So until next time. Thank you for joining us as we have a special edition from Down Under with Jack, and we review Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Follow us next week as we review Oppenheimer, Joseph's pick, and he will be back to host that episode. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, follow us at Twitter at podcastmcfc. Follow us on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, as well as Instagram, same name. And leave us a voicemail, why don't you? We like to hear from the classmates at 209-730-6010.
All right, see you next time.
See ya.
Bye. Why don't you?